those of you who are at-risk patients.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. And everyone, before we get started, like the video. That helps spread the word to the YouTube algorithm, to people that like this kind of content. And we'll be on the air in just a couple minutes. I'm going to start with the Alec Baldwin bizarreness. Alec Baldwin said he didn't pull the trigger. Press 1 if you believe Alec Baldwin, 2 if he's lying. 1, you believe. 2, he's lying.
Before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures
come on.
most effective is wearing the proper shoes.
Was there, what is it, somebody on the grassy knoll? Was there a second shooter? What a lunatic.
7060 or online at thesoulauthority.com.
Well, you know, we'll talk about this when I get on the air. He lies for a living. That's what actors do, right? Lying. His latest role is that of an innocent man. That's right.
Of all your Medicare health insurance options, I will advisors specialize
Good morning,
in
everyone.
educating Medicare beneficiaries on every available option to ensure you make the right choice for your needs. Call us directly at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing?
Yep, it's on.
Avoid probate.
Yeah.
Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens.
Just checking to make sure the delay's on, because we've had many trolls with some salty language lately. We have 2 delays. There's 20-second delay from my studio to the main radio station control room on the other side of the building. And then they have another delay that's 20 seconds to the transmitter site, to our radio towers. Alrighty. 5 minutes after the hour, my name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show. Flowrider's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Welcome. There is so much to talk about today. We are all ready to go. We did our final check on the delay. Oh man, you know, if you're listening to us on one of our radio stations, what you were hearing is 40 seconds ago. So yeah, we got to make sure we have the delays. We've been having some liberal trolls. See, things are falling apart for the Democrats. Things are falling apart. People are quitting Kamala Harris. Biden's a failure, and Democrats are having meltdowns. So we've been getting calls from a lot of Democrats that are suffering from a meltdown, using some salty language that you can't use on the radio. So, of course, the final checks have been made. Our delay is on and active. Oh, man, welcome, everyone. All right. Our number, by the way, toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Alec Baldwin, there's an interview. It's going to air today with Alec Baldwin with Clintonista George Stephanopoulos. His first sit-down interview, he's not including the guys that stopped him on the side of the highway with his wife and questioned him on the side of the highway. But Alec Baldwin, I want to play you the clip of this. ABC has released a promo so that we can all promote this historic event. I will be watching the full interview, and I think most people will. Alec Baldwin claims in this interview, you'll hear in his own words, that he didn't pull the trigger. And I was talking to Steve about it on the way into the radio station this morning, and Steve said to me, well, what's the hook? What's the hook? The hook is, what makes it. And I said, well, everyone hates Alec Baldwin. That's the hook. Everyone hates Alec Baldwin. And even George Clooney is against Alec Baldwin on this, but he has claimed that he did not pull the trigger. Now, I am not an expert on guns, although I've owned guns since I was 12. I have fired many, many guns. I am a gun owner. I have both revolvers and semi-automatic weapons. I don't have a .45 currently, which is what I believe he had, because this Rust movie was an Old West, so they got the .45 6-shooter. Now, I have fired a .45 6-shooter, but not for a long time. So, if someone has some experience with that weapon, the .45 6-shooter, the cowboy gun, I do welcome your input. But I have fired a couple of them, and my recollection was, now again, this I have not fired a .45 since I was about 19 years old, okay? But this was my recollection with the .45 6-shooter, and I remember it well, kind of well. It's a long time ago, 19, 20 years old. It's a long time ago. It was like 30 years ago. But I remember it because I remember thinking about, the Cowboys and the Lone Ranger and all that stuff. I remember pulling back the hammer, locking the hammer, and then firing, then pulling the trigger and firing. Now, I do know that in the Westerns, they fire without the trigger by do-do-do-do-do. But with the .45, my recollection is that you pull back the hammer to lock it, and then you pull the trigger. I guess can you do the thing like in the movies where you just pull back the hammer and over? I don't know if that can really be done. I tried that with cap guns when I was younger. But I don't. Out of all the guns I've ever owned and ever shot, and I've shot a lot of guns and I've owned guns, I have never used a gun that I fired without pulling the trigger. And I'll throw that out to you guys. And Alec Baldwin is in big, big trouble. And this interview with George Stephanopoulos was stupid of him. So let me just play the part of the promo from the George Stephanopoulos Alec Baldwin interview, and then we'll talk about it a little more. But I want to hear your calls on this as well at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Okay, here we go. Alec Baldwin with Stephanopoulos.
You described it as a 1 in a trillion shot, and the gun was in your hand. How do you come to terms with that? It wasn't in the script for the trigger to be pulled.
Well, the trigger wasn't pulled. I didn't pull the trigger.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them, never.
What did you think happened? How did a real bullet get on that set?
I have no idea. Someone put a live bullet in a gun, a bullet that wasn't even supposed to be on the property.
How do you respond to actors like George Clooney who say that every time they were handed a gun, they checked it themselves? Your emotions are so clearly so right there on the surface. You felt shock, you felt anger, you felt sadness. Do you feel guilt? You said you're not a victim, but is this the worst thing that's ever happened to you?
Yes. Yeah. Because I think back, and I think of what could I have done. Alec Baldwin, unscripted.
Yes, unscripted. Alec Baldwin, unscripted. Okay. Now, so I got a couple questions I want to throw out to you guys on Alec Baldwin. One, do you believe him when he says he didn't pull the trigger? What's he alleging? That there's a guy on the grassy knoll? Is he saying that he pulled the hammer back and let the hammer go and didn't engage the trigger and killed the woman and shot the other guy? Is he lying or telling the truth? Now, keep in mind, Alec Baldwin lies for a living. That's what acting is, right? He's a very good liar. He pretends to be all kinds of things. CIA agents. What are some other roles? Doctors. I've seen him as a doctor, as a salesman in Glengarry Glen Ross. And it would seem that his latest role, he's portraying that of an innocent man, I guess, in his mind. He killed someone. And, when this is, I remember I was young at the time, but the Twilight Zone trial, do you guys remember? A lot of you guys may not remember the Twilight Zone movie. a great American actor, Vic Morrow, was killed while filming the Twilight Zone movie, and this was like 1983-ish. And not only was he killed, 2 children were killed, and it's the first segment in the movie, which is still in the movie, but they cut out the scene where the accident happened. And Vic Morrow was running with a child under each arm. It was either supposed to be Vietnam or Korea, and there was a helicopter. I think it was a Vietnam scene he was filming. There was a U.S. military Huey above him, and the helicopter cut off Vic Morrow's head and killed the children as well. He was decapitated. And back then, we didn't have all the high-tech stuff we have today. And Entertainment Tonight and the network news aired the footage, and they didn't realize that if you slowed it down on a VCR, you could actually see it happen. And John Landis, who was the producer and maybe the director, was put on trial for that. Now, he didn't go to jail. That was a tragic accident, the Twilight Zone. And again, I was like 12, so it's a blur in my mind for sure. And I don't remember all the ins and outs because I haven't thought about it in 100 years. But that was clearly an accident. Like a traffic accident. Sometimes accidents happen. This incident with Alec Baldwin involved a gun. He pointed a gun at 1, maybe 2 people. 1 person is dead. Another was wounded. That's manslaughter. Accident or not, he committed manslaughter. That's not a free pass because you didn't mean to commit manslaughter with a gun like that. And I know a lot of people are saying Alec Baldwin will never go to jail. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that too. Will Alec Baldwin be arrested, charged, put on trial, and go to jail? He very well could. Now, if this happened in California, where Hollywood owns the politicians and everything, especially in the LA County area, maybe not. But this happened in Arizona. And now going out and doing an interview like this, I didn't pull the trigger, he's a victim, the worst thing that's ever happened to him. What about to the woman you killed and her child and her husband and the other man you shot? What about them? How bad was... Oh, New Mexico, I misspoke. Yeah, New Mexico. If this were in California, another deal. This interview, and George Stephanopoulos, who's a snowflake, liberal, scared to death of guns, doesn't know anything about them. He just hires people with guns to protect him, probably, but he doesn't use guns because he's scared of them. I would ask some very good follow-ups. Well, when we get the full interview, hopefully he does. And I'm very curious to see what I would very much like to see here. Okay, what I'd very much like to see with this, because this is ABC News. I would like to see ABC News do what they would do if this were Sean Hannity or Tucker Carlson with this. Bring in some firearm experts and with the same weapon that Alec Baldwin had, and let's see how they accidentally fire it without using the trigger. I like to see that. I don't think they're going to do... I think George Stephanopoulos and ABC News want to clear Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin has lived in New York City since the height of his fame. So that means he travels in the same circles as George Stephanopoulos, who lives in New York City too. And the media based out of New York City, they all know Alec Baldwin, so he's one of their friends. They've socialized. I wouldn't be surprised if Stephanopoulos has been to Alec Baldwin's house and Alec Baldwin has been to Stephanopoulos' home many times in the past. Certainly they've been at the same social gatherings together many, many times. So, this is like friend interviewing a friend here with Stephanopoulos. It's a joke. The man lies for a living. He killed someone. And when you kill someone, even if you didn't mean to, someone's got to pay. And I'll tell you, I am shocked that we've not seen photographs or video from the scene of that movie. That whole incident has been filmed probably on multiple cameras. They were blocking a scene, apparently, and everyone's got cell phones today. And they have video cameras, too, that are filming all the time when they're rehearsing and blocking scenes. We haven't seen any video before, during, or after the incident, and it's got to be all over the place. Hollywood's trying to cover this up. Nothing's leaked out yet. But I say he's lying, Alec Baldwin. And I hope he does more interviews like this because, like I was telling you, Kyle Rittenhouse needs to stop doing interviews because you'll get tripped up. These interviews are going to get him arrested. And New Mexico is not LA County. So let's do more interviews. Do as many interviews as you can, Alec Baldwin. Get very comfortable with it. Think that you're selling your crap to everyone. You killed a woman. You killed a woman. There is a child who no longer has a mother because of you. And you know what I'm curious about? Because he shot the two directors, right? We don't know because we haven't even heard, how many people are on a movie set. It's insane how many people are on a movie set. There has to be 50 people, 100 people there. Alec Baldwin's a hothead. We've all seen it. Do you think he might have been arguing with the directors? The cinematographer and the director? Before this, does he seem like a guy who's arguing with directors all the time? If he was, and then he ended up shooting, oh my goodness. Kyle Rittenhouse was a clear case of self-defense. Textbook self-defense. Should not have even been arrested. But there was a huge trial, a huge jury trial. A young man almost lost his entire life. This was not self-defense. He's even got George Clooney against him, right? Stephanopoulos said George Clooney has said that he always checks prop guns. He never just takes a gun and, okay. Yeah, that's right. Have you ever had someone hand you a gun that's empty? Of course, they hopefully check it, take the magazine out. I was showing my wife her Glock the other day. Took the Glock out, made sure it was unloaded. I checked the chamber, I handed it to my wife, and she did the same thing before she looked at it. Right? So this Alec Baldwin piece, he's a disgusting person. All right, listen, we're going to take our first break of the day, but I do want to hear your thoughts on what he says here. Can a 45 fire by accident? And man, if there was only one live round in it, how did that one live round be the one that was right there ready to go in the chamber and fire off? Come on. I don't know a lot about 45 six-shooters like this. I just don't. I fired them a couple times 30 years ago. But if you have any information on that, I'd certainly like to hear it. All right, our number toll-free from anywhere, no matter where you're listening to us from, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, 1-888-465-2631, 888-GO-KANE1, K-A-N-E, and the number 1. We'll take our first break of the day and come right back. Don't go anywhere.
You described it as a 1 in a trillion shot, and the gun was in your hand. How do you come to terms with that? It wasn't in the script for the trigger to be pulled.
Well, the trigger wasn't pulled. I didn't pull the trigger.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them, never.
What did you think happened? How did a real bullet get on that set?
I have no idea. Someone put a live bullet in a gun. A bullet that wasn't even supposed to be on the property.
How do you respond to actors like George Clooney who say that every time they were handed a gun, they checked it themselves? Your emotions are so clearly so right there on the surface. You felt shock. You felt anger. You felt sadness. Do you feel guilt? You said you're not a victim, but is this the worst thing that's ever happened to you?
Yes. Yeah. Because I think back, and I think of what could I have done.
Alec Baldwin Unscripted, the newsmaking special event, tomorrow night at 8/7 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Julian, $5 super chat. Everyone thank Julian. You can, but the SAA has to be set up. That way it removes the trigger from use altogether. That would have been known ahead of time while loading. That seems way too complex for an actor.
Tire a call right now. We'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Don't waste time going anywhere else. You will never find prices as low as Friendly Tire in Margate.
At AJ's Natural Shop at Festival Marketplace, you will find the best vitamins, herbs, and everything natural at amazingly low prices. I'm Anita, one of the owners of AJ's. My 20-plus years in the natural
Steve Kane Show.
Industry has allowed me to make contacts with the top supplement and health food manufacturers throughout the country. So even if you can't find your favorite item at AJ's, just ask. I can get it for you at a great price. Call AJ's today. 954-317-1851. 954-317-1851.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
Yes. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. 1-888-GO-KANE. 1-888-465-2631. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's 420.
Hey, 420.
I would like to call in and absolutely agree with you. Alec Baldwin is the ultimate one responsible of manslaughter.
Yeah.
He is handed that, when he is handed a firearm, just like anybody is handed a firearm, you check to see if there's anything in the chamber. And he should have known that there was a live round.
Well, what's this thing, though, that he didn't pull the trigger? Is he alleging that there was a second gunman? What is... I don't know enough about 45s, so I'm asking for the expert advice of our MAGA audience here, and I know we've got some people in this audience that either own or know about 45 six-shooters.
Well, I don't personally own a six-shooter. I have a Smith & Wesson, pistol, but with revolvers, that makes it even more damning on him.
Well, I almost bought recently a when I bought my Glock. I got a Glock 48 not too long ago for my birthday, and I thought about getting a 45, like the one Alec had, because I always thought they were cool. And two things stopped me. It's heavy as hell. That's one thing, and long as hell. It's not good for home protection. But I didn't like that I had to pull back the hammer and then pull the trigger. I was at the gun show, and I took a look at the gun show. And that seems like too many actions for home defense. Pull the hammer back and then the trigger. I don't have time for that.
Well, see, that's besides the point, right? The point I'm making is that hammer could have been a hair trigger, could have malfunctioned. But, number one, there should have never been any live ammunition on.
Well, that's true. Everybody agrees with that. But listen. I've had guns jam on me. I've never had a gun just fire. Never had a gun just fire. I almost shot myself once when I was a kid. I was hunting doves with, by the way, thanks for the call, 420. I was hunting doves with a 410 shotgun with my dad. We were out in the middle of nowhere. And I was off on my own. My dad was, he was a bit of ways from me. And on the 410, shotgun, it was double action. You had to pull back the hammer and pull the trigger every time you shot. It only held one 410 shotgun shell. And a flock of doves came over. I cocked, I aimed, and I didn't have a good shot. And I put the gun down and started walking away, and I'd forgotten that the gun had the hammer pulled back on it, and I had my finger on the trigger, and I pulled the trigger, and it went off. And there was a hole next to my right foot that was so wide and so deep because the gun was right at the ground level. I was only 12, and it missed my right foot by a half an inch, maybe an inch. If I would have survived, and I was young, so my dad was not too far off from being in Vietnam. Maybe he could have done some Vietnam Marine Corps first aid and saved me. But if I would not have bled out, I wouldn't be standing like this right now. I'd have some artificial foot or something on, because it would have destroyed my foot. But even in that instance, I pulled the trigger, and I learned a big lesson. And that's the only time I ever had a mishap with a gun. But I did it. I pulled the trigger. I just had the hammer pulled back like a fool. So anyway, that's that. We'll get more about that, and I will watch the whole interview. But as I said, if anyone out there has any more info on that, on the gun that knows about it, that weapon, give me a call, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. All right, now Black Lives Matter, they've called on a month-long boycott of white companies. White companies. We're going to, let me take another couple calls, because maybe we get through the Alec Baldwin stuff. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's John.
Yes, John.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if I was on.
You're on the air, John. Go ahead.
The old cowboy guns were they're 6 shooters for single action only, which means you can pull the trigger all you want, but the gun won't cock and go, off. The double action, single action, if you pull the trigger, the hammer will come back and the gun will fire, or you can pull the hammer back and fire. So there's no way for him to, what would you say? The gun wouldn't have fired if he didn't have the hammer.
So on some 45s, you can fire without pulling the trigger with just the hammer.
No, a single action, you have to have the hammer back and then pull the trigger.
Well, now Alec Baldwin. Now keep in mind, Alec Baldwin lies for a living. That's what acting is, okay? But he told George Stephanopoulos that he did not pull the trigger. He shot 2 people, killing 1. Is that possible?
In order for that to happen, the hammer would have had to be pulled back, and the gun had to be all wore out. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it wouldn't have went off. You have to pull the trigger, and the hammer has to be back.
Well, if in that case, okay, so it's possible to fire a 45 by pulling the hammer back without touching the trigger after the hammer's back and locked?
No, it's not. No, you have to pull it.
So there's no way that what he's saying is true. There's no way that he did not pull the trigger.
Yep. There's no way.
So he's lying.
You were talking about banning the gun with it going off like they do. They have to have the trigger pulled, and then they have to hit that hammer every single time.
I've seen guns. I've seen guns and have used guns a couple of times that had what's called a hair trigger. Steve had one that he got rid of real quick. It's been a long time. I'm pretty sure it was Steve who. I'll ask him when he joins us later, because it could have been someone else. But if you've ever fired a gun with what people refer to as a hair trigger, you touch that trigger and it goes off. But he's saying that he didn't pull the trigger, that the gun fired on its own is the only conclusion I can come. Or there was somebody on the grassy knoll, a second gunman. I mean, this is. Do you think Alec Baldwin's going to go to court over this? You think he's going to get arrested in New Mexico?
I don't think there's any kind of justice for the Democrats. Are there any?
Well, you say that, but he's a white man in the woke society. He's guilty just because of that. I mean, if he were Don Cheadle, he'd be okay. But he's not Don Cheadle.
If he was using a phaser, he'd be all right, too.
A phaser? A phaser? Yeah, because that's not a real weapon. You can't hurt anybody with something that's fake. All right, thanks for the call. All right, let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. And if you got any other thoughts on this, will Alec Baldwin be arrested? Will he be put on trial? Will he be tried for manslaughter? Do you see Alec Baldwin going to jail? Now, keep in mind, this is not in Hollywood. This is in New Mexico. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Good morning. Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name?
Julian from Ohio.
Julian in Ohio. What's up?
I'm the Department Armorer here, and that single-action Army can be altered to function without the trigger?
No. This is not a single action. No. We're not talking about the Army-issued 45. This is a 45 six-shooter, like the cowboy guns.
That's the same as the cowboy gun, single-action Army.
Okay.
And when you alter one like that, it would generally be for somebody that's a trick shooter for display purposes or. So
do you think Alec Baldwin's telling the truth or lying?
No, he's lying. You'd have to have one alter. I could alter one to do that.
Is that legal? Is it legal to do that?
Yeah.
No, I'm shocked to hear that. Yeah. You sure about that?
You have to load one. Like I put in that super chat.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that Alec Baldwin's gonna get arrested, be put on trial for manslaughter here?
Based on the state he's in, it could very well happen.
New Mexico, yeah. If it was California, I wouldn't even probably be talking about it. There'd be no hope because Hollywood owns them.
It's a shame that the judicial system functions by where you are as opposed to who you are as opposed to equal rights for everybody. But
I mean, listen, Robert Blake was a washed-up celebrity, and he got away with killing his wife, But this one, see, the thing about this one that's different is, even though it's not been released yet, there's going to be video of this, maybe from multiple angles, of the entire incident before, during, and after, because they were setting up a scene, and the woman he shot was a cinematographer. So she was behind the camera, and they setting up a scene. So there were probably cameras going in multiple angles on this, which we didn't have in some of these other cases.
I think there'll be a process for the film to come out. He's a producer, if I remember.
Mm-hmm. And if the film disappears, that would involve a lot of people committing a lot of crimes on the movie set, and I don't see that happening for this guy.
He owns the film, and to get that, to have access to that, it'll take subpoena, and all that stuff will be.
I would be shocked if the detectives in New Mexico have not taken that film and took it immediately when they did the investigation. I do find it strange, though, that the police in New Mexico have not had a press conference. At least I haven't seen one. Nothing meaningful. Have not had a press conference on this. They've been keeping tight lips. So that could either mean that they're going to try to not do anything and cover it up, or they're doing a very intense, detailed investigation and are waiting until they have all their ducks in a row.
Sometimes a press conference doesn't work in your favor from law enforcement perspective. Make the defense file for discovery.
Well, Alec Baldwin doing this interview could really be screwing himself here.
Oh yeah, people just don't want to shut up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he shouldn't. I mean, I cannot imagine that he does not have attorneys telling him not to do this interview, and he did it anyway. Which shows you that which fits into Alec Baldwin's personality, and like I say, if we get footage, if there's footage that comes out of him arguing with the cinematographer and the director on the set of that movie, which I imagine, I just don't see Alec Baldwin not arguing with directors and camera people on a movie set. I just don't see that.
That's his personality.
Mm-hmm. He's a nasty, nasty man, and he's been violent throughout his fame with photographers and others, and people have said, he's violent. He's going to kill someone one day. People have said that about Alec Baldwin years ago, and now look what's happened.
My personal opinion, he was showing off and stuck the gun in somebody's face or in their direction.
Well, that's still manslaughter.
Yeah, he's responsible what he does with that gun as long as it's in his hand.
That's right. That's right. Hey, Julian in Ohio, thanks for the call. All right, we're going to take our break. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
So you've been told you need a health test. What are you going to have to pay? Health tests can be very expensive. If you go to your doctor's office or one of the big labs, it can cost you hundreds of dollars. Sometimes I haven't had lab tests because of the cost. Then I discovered Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs' goal is to get you all the lab tests you need, save you money, and get you in and out in 15 minutes or less. At Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs, you never need an appointment, no doctor's order, or prescription needed either.
Good morning, everyone. If you're just joining us,
there are thousands of lab tests done for just a fraction of the price the big labs or your doctor's office charge. Give them a call, 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Private and affordable lab testing. 954-906-5983. We all know how beautiful and lush Florida is, with the abundance of trees and bushes. But if you want your home to look great, all of that greenery needs to be trimmed and well kept. So when it comes to trimming
Steve Kane Show.
You want a pro, one who knows how to cut, when to cut, and the difference in each type of tree. And the best in South Florida are the professionals at GoPro Professional Property Care. With over 50 years of experience in South Florida, they know what's best for your trees and how to make your home look spectacular. With all the electrical wiring around, tree trimming is too dangerous to do yourself and requires a professional that you will not find by hiring just some guy with a truck who knocks on your front door. In fact, tree trimming is so much more than just cutting branches. It's about maintenance and keeping your trees healthy and having curb appeal. GoPro Professional Property Care is licensed and insured, available 24/7 for any tree emergency. GoPro does it all too: tree trimming, pruning, tree removal, stump grinding, root removal, lawn care, and installation. And that's just the start of what they do. Call Nathan. He's Steve Kane's personal tree trimmer, and now he wants to work with you. 954-680-7739. He's also available for condos, HOAs, and businesses. 954-680-7739. 954-680-7739. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. 954-680-7739.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
Hey guys, Brian here with you. It's the Steve Kane Show. You know, if you ever miss the number for one of the great sponsors to the Steve Kane Show, there's a couple things you can do. First thing, go to our website, stevekaneshow.com, stevekaneshow.com, and click on the sponsor info page. You'll see there's a picture of Steve sipping champagne. That's from one of our cruises, and it says sponsor info there. You click that, and all of our sponsors' contact information is listed right there. A lot of times, people call when we're not on the air. People call our call-in number, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, and leave voice messages asking for the numbers of sponsors, and I call people back. I get those messages when you leave a message on our voicemail. It is forwarded to me right away, and I call people back all day. A lot of times they're shocked that it's me, you know, but yeah, I call everybody back. So if you ever need the phone number or information on one of our sponsors, go to stevekaneshow.com. You'll find it there. And if you can't do that for whatever reason, you just go to our phone number and leave a message. I will call you back. And sometimes I'll call up one of our sponsors. I can't remember the number off the top of my head, and I go to stevekaneshow.com and get the numbers there too. It's kind of like my personal sponsor phone book, stevekaneshow.com. All right, let's go to PJ. Hey, PJ, how you doing?
Yeah, hey, you know what? I think Alec Baldwin's been coached by his legal team to say that.
Stupid lawyers.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not believable at all. And by the way, you mentioned it was New Mexico. I thought it was Arizona.
I thought it was Arizona. Then some people told me New Mexico this morning. I don't know why. I don't remember which. It's either Arizona or New Mexico. I'm going to double check.
Yeah, but I mean, he comes off as ridiculous as that Jussie Smollett, who I still can't believe. By the way, his trial is going on now. I still can't believe the guy's still sticking to his story that absolutely no one believes. And by the way, they came up with new material, you know, that showed he was doing a dry run. He was doing a dry run in the scene.
Yeah.
So that's going to be actually kind of interesting. You know. Here's the thing about Jussie. You know, I don't want to get off Alec Baldwin too much, but you know what? A lot of people don't realize that Jussie Smollett was very, very, very politically connected, especially with Kamala Harris.
Oh, by the way, I just checked. It was New Mexico, not Arizona. I thought Arizona too, PJ. So, Arizona. Yeah, what's the difference? They're both Southwest desert states.
New Mexico. Actually, you might say, you could say that New Mexico is a little more scenic, except for the fact that Arizona has the Grand Canyon.
Yeah. Well, what do when the film and the video come out of this shooting, which there is camera footage of it, I would be shocked if there wasn't. And we see his finger on that trigger, which is possible.
I think, Alec Baldwin's a nutcase. I think he has real anger management problems, and I think he was acting out his anger. He was thinking, he's just so furious for some reason that he had to let off his steam by pulling the trigger. I don't think he meant to kill them, but then lo and behold.
There's no way that Alec Baldwin does not have a history of arguing with directors and camera people on movie sets. There's just no way. He's got to be fighting with these people all the time.
Yeah. By the way, I wonder if there's video out. That would be interesting if it comes out. Maybe some researchers can do it. That the cameras that are always running on these sets, if they can get a collection. They might have to do that if there's a.
Let me tell you, if the police did not do that, I would be shocked. The police, if the police were, they could get starstruck. They get over there and Alec Baldwin's there. I'd be shocked if I ran into Alec Baldwin. But they should not only have taken the film from the cameras on the set, but they should have confiscated everyone's cell phone too, because there has to be footage. They were obviously preparing for a scene, blocking a scene. So part of that is they have, everything's done on video now, or not video, but computer. They don't use real actual film anymore. So they have the camera. It doesn't cost money. The cameras are running all the time, so they can go back and see if the scene's going to work and all this. So there's got to be maybe multiple camera angles of the whole incident, before, during, and after.
Wait, so they don't actually use? You mean
everything's digital now.
Film?
Very few movies use film now. A lot of them do.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's strange is when I see movies, of course now it's all on TV that I watch them, but still, they actually do look like movies. I don't notice. Very
few films use actual film anymore, and this is a low budget movie. This is Alec Baldwin. He's not a movie star anymore. You know what I mean? So he was producing this movie because the only way he can get movie work is if he hires himself. So a low-budget movie definitely was not running actual film. It had to be digital. But even if they use actual film, they use digital cameras right next to them so they can easily look at the scenes immediately. So no, there's definitely digital recordings of it. Always.
On that subject, do you know who invented the idea of running a television cameras alongside of the film that became standard in Hollywood? You ready for this? I swear this is the truth. Jerry Lewis.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. That was his system. He definitely invented it. You could look that up.
I can believe it. I really miss Jerry Lewis, because when Jerry Lewis was alive and he was down in Miami, everybody always had terrible stories about run-ins with Jerry Lewis, who was one of the nastiest people, apparently, that ever lived. He was like an Alec Baldwin type.
Yeah, but at least he didn't kill anybody.
That's true. Well, we'll see. Do you think Alec Baldwin's lying to Stephanopoulos? They filmed another a movie here. A friend of mine was in it and was in more than a dozen scenes with Jerry Lewis. I cannot remember the movie, but they filmed a Jerry Lewis movie, and the final here in South Florida, the final scene was filmed on Las Olas. I cannot remember the name of the movie. And a friend of mine was a kid in it, and he played the son of Jerry Lewis's love interest, who was Susan Oliver from Star Trek, the unaired pilot The Cage, and also in that movie Roger Carmel, who was also in Star Trek. Look it up online. I cannot remember the name of the movie.
No problem, but that won't be hard to figure.
Yeah, my friend played the love interest of Jerry Lewis's girlfriend, and the guy, he's a genius. He was the youngest person ever to graduate law school, and he's also a doctor. Yeah, but he's in the movie. All right, take care. Thanks for the call, PJ. PJ's coming with us on the cruise, by the way, in January. Okay, let's take our last break of the first hour. We'll come back. And I do have some other topics I want to bring up. I don't want to spend the whole day talking about this lowlife Alec Baldwin, but if you have any other thoughts on that, certainly you're welcome to call our number, 1-888-GO-CANE 1, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back after this.
Open enrollment is here. iWill Advisors is here to offer you an unbiased comparison of all your Medicare health insurance options. iWill Advisors specialize in educating Medicare beneficiaries on every available option to ensure you make the right choice for your needs. Call us directly at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Hi, Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration. We survived the 2021 hurricane season. Now it's time to get your building envelope ready for the next season. Laporta Contracting installs all types of roofs, from asphalt, clay, and concrete, standing metal seam, flat roofs, and slate tile systems. Our building restoration offers complete envelope protection to include siding, stucco, concrete restoration, impact windows and doors, weatherproofing, and painting. Laporta Contracting serves single-family, multifamily, HOAs, and commercial properties. Call Laporta Contracting today for a free evaluation and estimate, and go to our website to see our team and past customer videos at laportacontracting.com. Our number is 954-604-4602. That number again is 954-604-4602. And thanks for listening to The Steve Kane Show.
Hi folks, Dr. Matez here, now with the BioStation West Delray. At BioStation West Delray, we continue to offer the highest level of experience and care you can find in the realm of hormone pellet and hormone replacement therapies. But that's just the start. We offer a full array of age management modalities, including state-of-the-art treatments for erectile dysfunction, sexual dysfunction in women, physical and sexual rejuvenation, and quite frankly, any sign or symptom of aging that you may have. And don't forget, we offer the complete array of all cosmetic modalities, including Botox, fillers, lasers, etc. Better energy, better sleep, better performance, and looks to die for. If this all sounds good to you, call us at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for www.
Hey guys, welcome back. 10 minutes before 7, I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Did any of you guys catch Tucker Carlson last night? I didn't catch the whole Tucker Carlson show. I watched some of it this morning before I came into the radio station. Tucker Carlson had a short segment on Brian Stelter over on CNN, and I got to tell you, there's a lot of people in the media that I do not like. Brian Stelter is my least favorite person in media, and that's saying a lot, because that's like you got Acosta, Chris Wallace. But I cannot stand that guy. And, one of the reasons I can't stand the guy is he's a punk. He's a punk, and he's a bully. And Brian Stelter, I don't even know where he came from or what his background is, but he has become the decider of who is news and who's not a journalist, and all, you know what I'm talking about. He's got that. I think he's the most unlikable person in television cable news, Brian Stelter. I know we have a lot of people, everybody has their list of who they don't like, and we probably would agree, but if I had to put them in order, number one, he's the one I dislike the most. And that's really saying a lot, isn't it? My wife calls him George Costanza because she says he looks like George from Seinfeld. And it's true, he does, doesn't he? Although he's more overweight. George was lovable, though. George was lovable. Brian Stelter's not lovable. But anyway, Tucker Carlson had a very interesting little segment on Brian Stelter. Brian Stelter fired his nanny. and he fired the nanny because she's unvaccinated. And Tucker Carlson, though, and hey, listen, people can let nannies go. You know, I don't know how long the nanny's been with his children. It's hard for me to believe. I know he's a married man with children, but it's hard for me to believe that any woman on this planet met Brian Stelter and just fell in love with him and says, we got to get married, and I want you to impregnate me. It's so hard for me, multiple times. I mean, can you imagine what does he have to offer? I don't know. But anyway, getting back to what the Tucker Carlson segment was about. So Brian Stelter was bragging that he fired his nanny because she's not vaccinated. And Tucker Carlson has some interesting questions about that, though. One, I guess he got some information that I didn't have. She is a minority. I don't know if she's black or Hispanic, but she's either black or Hispanic. So liberal Brian Stelter at liberal CNN fired a nanny of color, but that wasn't the worst of it. Tucker Carlson asked if he gave her any severance pay. Did he give her notice, or did he just fire her? How's she paying her rent and buying her food? And he did this during the Christmas holiday season. And Tucker Carlson, they even contacted CNN for comment, and they didn't respond. But what kind of scummy man fires the woman who has been taking care of his children? You know, I don't know how long the nanny has been with Brian Stelter's family. But a lot of nannies become the mother of children in many, many ways. Some people have nannies, and, you know, they do everything for the kids. Mom and dad come home late in the day, and 2 hours later, everyone's in bed, right? Yeah. And so he fired a minority woman. And Tucker was even asking about her health insurance. Was he taking care of her health insurance? Did he put her on a COBRA now that she's gone? So you got this liberal Brian Stelter fired a minority woman during the Christmas holiday season. What about her family's Christmas? Is he still paying her? Is he giving her severance pay? These are all very good questions. And when Brian Stelter was talking about this, Tucker had the audio, and he played it on Tucker Carlson last night. I don't have it to play for you, but he did play it last night. I'm sure it's online. I meant to pull the audio up, but I was watching it right before I left the house, and I just didn't have time to do it before I came to the radio station today. But he was like bragging about it. Like he did this thing, and it was so heroic right before Christmas. Who fires someone right before Christmas? If you had someone working for you that you were going to let go, unless they were like stealing from you or something, would you fire them right before Christmas? You'd wait till after, wouldn't you? Unless they were like a danger or were thieving. That's what a normal, decent person would do, but Brian Stelter is not. Could you imagine if Sean Hannity or Tucker Carlson fired their minority nanny right before Christmas with no notice? And this is in New York. Man, how's she going to pay the heat and the rent? Yeah, it's amazing what liberals think makes them heroic. He thought that made him look good. I don't even know if the story's true. It's Brian Stelter at CNN. Yeah, who would brag about something like that? You know, if he had any self-awareness and he did it, would he be telling people about it? And it really shows where his mind is at, that he thinks that made him look good. Firing a minority woman right before Christmas. Oh yeah, you're a great guy, Stelter. Whew. What a jerk. What a jerk. All right, our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. Yesterday morning after the show, I spoke with Mike Lindell's office at MyPillow, and Mike Lindell and his entire company, but Mike Lindell wants me to thank everyone in the Steve Kane Radio Show listening audience. We broke a record. We broke a record of sales on this program during the Black Friday weekend of MyPillow products for local radio shows. And that's because of you guys and your support of this program and of Mike Lindell, and that is just amazing. You know, Steve and I, we were on the air live both Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and we did it brought to you by MyPillow. They asked us to do it, and we did it. And those 2 days are precious 2 days to me because I don't get much time off, and I usually use Thanksgiving because it's a 4-day weekend. That's like my yearly vacation. And MyPillow asked us to come in if we could promote MyPillow for the Thanksgiving Black Friday weekend. We did it, and it was a massive success. So much so, they called me yesterday morning. It was absolutely amazing. And that is because of you guys. And thank you for your support of this program and of Mike Lindell. And I asked them to do something, and they did it for us. And this is just an amazing deal. If you go to MyPillow.com and click on the radio listener specials, there's some specials. I asked them if they could include on the radio listener specials and continue, and they did it. Okay, and I'm going to just go through 2 of them now. I'll talk about more of them later. Because they're nice people. Mike Lindell's a great man. He's a strong supporter of President Trump and MAGA, and he really truly appreciates those of you out there who support him and his company. And I'd asked them to include a couple of specials and continue them, and they did it. And the main one is the 50% off with the promo code Kane at checkout on the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper, the thickest mattress topper that Mike Lindell makes, the 3-inch mattress topper. It's the mattress topper I sleep on, and they were offering it for Black Friday and Cyber Monday for 50% off. And I just asked them. And next thing I knew, they updated the website, and it was there. So go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener specials. There's a lot of great specials there. I'll talk about more later. But the MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper is available for 50% off with the promo code Kane. It makes a great Christmas gift. And it comes in a perfect package to wrap and put under the tree. And if it's someone out of town, you can always have it shipped to them. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. And again, thank you from the Steve Kane Show, Mike Lindell, and MyPillow for your incredible support of this program and Mike Lindell. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. We'll be right back. It's 7 o'clock.
Covered AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Seniors, open enrollment is here. I Will Advisors is here to offer you an unbiased comparison of all your Medicare health insurance options. I Will Advisors specialize in educating Medicare beneficiaries on every available option to ensure you make the right choice for your needs. Call us directly at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences.
Julian, $5 super chat. Everyone thank Julian. Even if a rehearsal, the cameras would have been running, I would suspect. Even if deleted, would be retrievable at the lab. Maybe explains the delay. Yep. Yep.
My good friends at the Soul Authority. At the Soul Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to 1 pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width and extra depth to stop diabetic foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the
Oh, that's great, Eric.
Call the Soul Authority at 954-597-7060 or online at thesoulauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Did you know that 2 out of 5 Americans suffer from some kind of allergy? So it's likely that fatigue, runny nose, headaches, intestinal problems, and a general lousy feeling can be connected to an allergy. Any lab tests now of Boca Raton offer allergy tests that can detect over 125 air, food, and environmental allergens. Allergy testing is quick, easy, and painless. Results can be shared with your physician or an allergist. No doctor's order or prescription is necessary. No appointment either. Just walk right in. Any lab test now of Boca Raton is located at 23016 Sandalfoot Plaza on the east side of 441, just a few doors down from Western Beef. If you have any questions, call 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Any lab tests now of Boca Raton. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on The Steve Kane Show.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices.
Oh, I know, Australia. It's like it's a penal colony again, Australia. But I tell you guys, you YouTube people should subscribe to Sky News out of Australia. They are the best television news on the planet, and they cover everything going on in America. And I subscribe. I watch Sky News out of Australia all the time. You would love it.
That's 1-888 Cocaine 1. And now, here's Steve.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. 4 minutes after 7. It's Thursday morning already. I'm looking out of the window, and I am watching a beautiful sunrise over the beach in Boca, and I can see the beach, the Boca Beach in Deerfield. It's both beaches, and the sunrise looks spectacular. That Florida weather. Welcome back, everyone. And, of course, we're celebrating that Nancy Pelosi is not moving to Florida. And, Eric Bowling was talking about her move to Florida yesterday on Newsmax TV, and his show's spectacular, by the way. It was a little rough start there, Eric Bowling. Eric Bowling on Newsmax, he's good guests, good topics. He's right on point. I really enjoy it. He's being made fun of on Mediaite this morning. It wasn't true. She was never moving to Florida. I don't believe that. I believe she was looking to move to Florida, and that she realized what Florida was all about, at least that part of Florida she was talking about moving to. I don't buy this story that she was never moving here. I don't buy it. I think she was looking into it because Joe Scarborough and Mika live in that part of town, and she just thought it was liberal land, and then she found out it was MAGA country. MAGA country. But, there are liberals that live in MAGA country. There's a singer that I'm a fan of. I'm not going to tell you because you guys will make fun of me if I tell you who it is. But there's a singer I'm a fan of who's very liberal and lives in the Stewart-Jupiter area too, and they're very liberal, hate Trump, and they're in MAGA country. So there are some liberals that live. I think Nancy Pelosi was planning on it and changed her mind. And they're going after Eric Bowling for it. I'd like to see her deny that she was ever thinking about and talk to people about moving to Florida. Anyway, let's go back to our phones. Let me get out the number, and then I'm going to bring up some new topics in a few minutes. 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-GO-CANE-1. In the first hour, we're mainly talking about Alec Baldwin, but I'm going to move on to some other topics. But I'll take a call or two to see if there's any hangers-on on Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin has claimed he did not pull the trigger of the gun that killed one and wounded another on the set of Rust. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
Hey, I'm so happy that she's not coming here, but I think she probably figures she'd be harassed if she goes to a restaurant in MAGA country. But good, she's not coming. We don't need her.
Yes.
More MAGA people only. This Humpty Dumpty guy.
Brian Stelter?
Yeah, that's how they always call him. Anyhow, This woman's been working for him. She's not sick. She's not even tested. And what is the damn rush?
Well, I thought Tucker Carlson's questions were very good. So he fires a minority woman right before Christmas in the dead of winter in New York City. Did he? And Tucker Carlson contacted CNN, and these were his questions. Did he give her notice? Did he give her severance? Was he paying for her health insurance? And if so, is he going to continue to pay at least through the holiday season? You know, of course we know the answers to all these questions. He fired a minority woman right before Christmas, and she's out on her own in the world. He doesn't give a damn, and I'm sure he was not providing her health insurance.
I'm sure. I hope that's wrong, but
and for him to be bragging about it like it makes him look good.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys that wants to show how the Democrats say you get vaccinated or you're fired, and that's what he has to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because
yeah, and she's been raising his children. She's been raising his children. I wonder if they're going to miss her. A lot of times, kids view the nanny as a mother in their life. Firing a nanny is a big deal to the child, but, you know.
It's a very low-life thing to do, and I can't believe anybody...
Well, he's a lowlife. I think most Americans would agree that Brian Stelter is a lowlife, right?
Yeah, untalented, low-life, and...
Yes,
like,
and he's a punk and a bully. Hey, take care, Conservative Doug. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Al, Coral Springs, your favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, you are doing everything in your grasp.
Angela, $5 super chat.
Avoid
Thank you.
Talking about
Keep
the white
truth
terrorist
burning, Brian.
shooter in
Thank you,
Michigan.
Angela.
Had that been a black kid, you wouldn't even stop talking about it. You avoided the whole conversation.
Okay, let's talk. Slow down. Okay, I don't know what you do for a living, but I know what I do for a living, okay? And I do it well enough for you to listen and call all the time. There's 40 other radio stations. There's at least 40 other radio stations on the radio, and you're listening to me. So I must be doing something right. But let's not get sidetracked. Just calm down for a second. Let's take it away from the issue. Okay. When it comes to talking about a story in talk radio, we don't just read news stories, okay? We slow down, because I'm going to put you in charge of the show in a moment, but you got to calm down for a second. There's no violin. I'm going to give you an opportunity to host a radio show. And what we do is we have discussions about things, and for a discussion to take place, there must be a hook. For example, the Alec Baldwin killing that we're talking about this morning. There's a new development because he did an interview and said he didn't pull the trigger. So there's several hooks to that story, okay? One, is he telling the truth or not? 2, is it possible for that type of weapon to fire without him using the trigger? 3, will he be arrested? 4, will he go... Listen, slow down for a... Al, let me tell you, Al... Stop for a second. I'm trying to talk to you about the profession of radio, not the issue of Alec Baldwin or the shooting. We'll get to that in a second. Another issue, will he be arrested? Will he be tried? Will Alec Baldwin go to jail? These are questions that can come out of that. They're called hooks. The school shooting in Michigan. Tell me what the hooks are to get a discussion going about it right now. You're hosting the show. The school shooter in Michigan. Let's make it a topic that's a talk radio discussion. I'm throwing it to you, Al.
This is your problem, Brian. Because it's not a black kid, it won't be a hook.
Well, no, but you got the hook. You've got the hook. So give me the... No, Al. I'm throwing the show over to you. You're hosting right now. Go.
This is the hook. It has to be a black criminal for you to be interested. Period. It has to be something to divide...
Then explain. Alec Baldwin's white, and I'm talking about him getting arrested.
You want to divide it whether it's what you want to do it with political divisions.
No.
Or racial.
No. What I'm at with the Michigan Okay, hold on. Stop for a second. Okay. Stop for a second, Al. This is what I'm going to do. No. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the hourly open, okay? And when the hourly open is completed, I'm throwing it to you, and you open up a segment talking about the Michigan shooter and make it a hook. So hold on. You got to stop. Here we go. Hold on. Here we go. Hold on. Slow down. Here we go.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE-1. And now,
Al from Coral Springs. That's dead air, Al.
Hello?
Yeah, I just threw that was the show open. It's dead air. You're going to do a show on the Michigan school shooter. Go.
See, Brian, I'm not going to make your show famous. I'm the only reason why people listen. Because everybody else are deadheads. And have nothing interesting to say but just agree with you all morning long. The same...
No, you're not talking about the Michigan... You're not talking about the Michigan shooting. You're talking about me. Now, I know I'm very interesting. I understand that. But you want us to do the show on the Michigan school shooting. You're talking about me. Oh, he hung up. He hung up. Because there's nothing to say about the Michigan school shooting unless something scandalous comes out, right? He hung up. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Oh, my goodness. Sometimes there are some things that are not... Talk radio is a conversation. It's a discussion. And there are some things that you just can't discuss. Oh, it's bad. Okay, we're against it. It was wrong. There's not a hook to it. Now, one may develop. Like, for example, the morning that the building collapsed in Miami, it happened right before I went on the air. And people called me up, why aren't you talking about the building? And I said to them, now this was the morning it happened. It happened right before we went on the air, remember? I said, well, how do you do it? We don't know enough about it to discuss it. Now reporting from Miami Beach, a building has collapsed. Okay, where do I go from there? Now, a few days later, we found out some things, right? I even went down to the building and made a YouTube video. I visited the site and everything else. But at that moment, there was nothing of a discussion in talk radio. Same goes for the Michigan school shooting. Everyone's against it. It was a bad thing. There's no hook. There's no angle. Like the Parkland shooter. Talked about that a lot. The Parkland shooter. There was a lot about that. There was a lot about that instantaneously, and not just because it was local. With the Parkland shooter, one of the first things we talked about was before they even arrested Nicholas Cruz, there were students from the school in front of the school talking to reporters saying Nicholas Cruz did this. We all know it had to be him. So and so there was a whole discussion about Nicholas Cruz, about the cover-up of crime by the Broward County Sheriff at the time, the cowardly cop who called in fake radio calls and hid while people were being murdered by and unarmed teachers and police and flip-flops and sandals who were watering the grass went in while he was hiding. Then we found out administration covered up things up and all this stuff. There was a whole there were all kinds of discussions about that. Those are what we just use the hooks for. There's an angle. There's something to discuss. There's a debate. There's controversy. With the school shooting in Michigan, at this point, there's no... But see, with Al, everything's about race. You wouldn't be talking about it if he were white. Alec Baldwin's white, and the woman he killed was white. And we're talking about locking him up. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Good morning, Brian.
Hey, Andrew. What's up?
Oh, my goodness.
I gave Al a big chance to be a talk radio host, and he failed. He ran like a girl. Well, that was embarrassing.
Well, if he wasn't such a coward, which he is, he could have said, one of the hooks could have been, do you think it should be proper to have teachers or armed security at schools now? There could have been a host of hooks. But you know what Al's not good at? Al's not good at thinking on his feet because he can't think.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't think. That's what the problem is. So he could call me a bootlicker all he wants. But the difference between Al and I is that I think on my feet. I don't need to call people names to get my point across. The difference between Al and I is I actually respect Al, where Al doesn't respect anybody else, which is probably why he's in his mom's basement getting his Hot Pockets out of the microwave.
Well, I'm going to defend Al. He's not living in his mom's basement. In Florida, we don't have basements because you'd be hitting water. You dig 1 foot underground, you're in water. We don't have. He might be in the bedroom at his mother's house eating Hot Pockets, but he's certainly not in a basement. We don't have basements in South Florida.
Well, when I move to Florida, after I get my Series 65, I'll help Al. I'll help him do some investing, move him out of his mom's house, just...
Yeah, but that would involve like a job and responsibility.
Yeah, that's true.
You're setting him up to fail. Sounds like you're setting him up to fail.
Well, I just, I'm sorry, Brian, that he's so disrespectful.
Well, I don't mind. Disrespectful's interesting, at least, but he is mentally ill. He said the only reason that people listen to the longest-running radio show in the state of Florida, the Steve Kane Show, since 1977, is because of Al in Coral Springs. I don't think he's been calling the show that long. How did we get by, those 40-plus years without him? Were people just waiting around for him to, 35, 40 years ago? Were there people sitting by their radios waiting 35, 40 years for Al to call in? Because he's the only reason people listen.
Then here's the thing, right? If he's such a rock star, get a radio show and not be...
Well, then again, now that requires talent and abilities, which he displayed he didn't have. But that also requires a job reporting to work at a certain time. Like, I got to be here. The show starts at 6 a.m. I got to be here and ready to go and set up and everything. There's hours of prep time. Now they're talking about responsibility. Being somewhere at an appointed time. Every day. No. Hey, Andrea, take care. Thanks for the call. We're going to take our first break of the second hour. It's 7:20. My name's Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be back after this.
Seniors, open enrollment is...
Wesley, $5 super chat. Thank you. Everyone thank Wesley. Al is quite insulting towards the rest of us listeners. Totally not acceptable. What a clown. That's a badge of honor to the listeners that he's so upset with you all. You've been listening, Holly, for years? Have you been waiting for years for Al to call?
753-8080. 954-753-8080.
We all know how beautiful and lush Florida is, with the abundance of trees and bushes. But if you want your home to look great, all of that greenery needs to be trimmed and well kept. So when it comes to trimming your trees, you want a pro, one who knows how to cut, when to cut, and the difference in each type of tree. And the best in South Florida are the professionals at GoPro Professional Property Care. With over 50 years of experience in South Florida, they know what's best for your trees and how to make your home look spectacular. With all the electrical wiring around, tree trimming is too dangerous to do yourself and requires a professional that you will not find by hiring just some guy with a truck who knocks on your front door. In fact, tree trimming is so much more than just cutting branches. It's about maintenance and keeping your trees healthy and having curb appeal. GoPro Professional Property Care is licensed and insured, available 24/7 for any tree emergency. GoPro does it all too. Tree trimming, pruning, tree removal, stump grinding, root removal, lawn care, and installation. And that's just the start of what they do. Call Nathan. He's Steve Kane's personal tree trimmer, and now he wants to work with you. 954-680-7739. He's also available for condos, HOAs, and businesses. 954-680-7739. 954-680-7739. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. 954-680-7739.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation.
No, Al is too out of control to have into the studio. I could not trust to have him in the studio.
Very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Soul Authority today, 954-597-7060.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, welcome back, everyone. 22 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Now, last week we were telling you one of our longtime listeners has been in the hospital with COVID, and we were asking people to pray for them, and they are still in the hospital, but doing much, much better. Last week was a little hairy there, a little scary, but she's doing very well now. And of course, I was talking about Sarah, who went with us on our last Steve Kane cruise, and you guys all know Sarah, and she sent me a text message from her hospital bed that she is watching on YouTube. So everyone that's watching on YouTube, say hello to Sarah, and that's great, because if she's in the hospital bed watching us on YouTube and text messaging me, that means she's feeling a lot better, because she wasn't watching on YouTube and texting me last week because it was she was on the edge there. So that is great news. Sarah is doing well. So that's great news. And thank you, everyone, for your prayers. But don't stop. Keep doing it, because she is still in the hospital. All right, now, Steve Ducey was on fire yesterday. Did you guys catch Ducey with Fauci and Jen Psaki? Doesn't Jen Psaki sound like the name of a stripper? Jen Psaki, two different types of alcohol. And is she guilty of cultural appropriation? Psaki is Japanese. Is Jen an American drink? I guess. I don't know about Jen. But Sake is most definitely Japanese. Is she Japanese? Your cultural appropriation, Jen Psaki. But Peter Ducey, he had 2 good ones yesterday. One for Psaki and one for Fauci. Let's share the Psaki one first, because the Fauci one, Fauci's supposed to be like this brilliant doctor with a brilliant mind, and he got set up by Ducey, and he's so arrogant that he didn't even see it coming. We'll get to his second. Let's do this. This was the first one. And Ducey, I think Ducey is getting coached by someone that has a talk radio background, because the way he is handling, Peter Ducey is very, very good. The way that Peter Ducey is handling these press conferences he is in is like a very highly skilled radio talk show host. I know I'm not advising him. Maybe Steve is. There are not very many people that can do this, because what he does is he does the setup. The one he does with Fauci was textbook setup. But we'll get to that one in a second. Let's do it. The first one, though, I love. This was awesome. So this is Peter Ducey with Jen Psaki, a woman whose first and last name are after 2 different types of hardcore alcohol. Listen.
Last one, a lot of talk about the first Trump-Biden debate today, but at the second one, in 2020, when roughly 220,000 Americans had already died of COVID, Joe Biden said about Trump, anyone who is responsible for that many deaths should not remain as president of the United States of America. Is that still the standard now that more Americans have died under President Biden than President Trump?
Wow. Boom. Is that a good one? That's a great question. That's a great question. Her answer is pathetic, which I'll play for you in a moment. But that is a perfect question. That's a perfect question from Peter Ducey. He should get the Pulitzer Prize for that question. What do they give the TV reporter? Do they get Pulitzers? What do they get? A daytime Emmy. We got to give this guy an award. The Mar-a-Lago Medal of something. I don't know. We got to give him an award. That was a great question. Oh, man. But let's hear her answer, but it was so good. Let's hear his question again.
Last one, a lot of talk about the first Trump-Biden debate today, but at the second one, In 2020, when roughly 220,000 Americans had already died of COVID, Joe Biden said about Trump, anyone who is responsible for that many deaths should not remain as President of the United States of America. Is that still the standard now that more Americans have died under President Biden than President Trump?
Well, I think the fundamental question here is, what are you doing to save lives and protect people?
Elizabeth, $25 super chat. Thank you. Thank you,
people
Brian. Always a great show. Thank you.
He
Everyone, thank
apparently
Elizabeth.
reportedly didn't even share with people he was going to interact with that he had tested positive for COVID himself.
Lie.
He continued to provide a forum for misinformation, which probably led to people not taking steps forward to protect themselves, to wear masks, to eventually get vaccinated.
Lie.
This president has made the vaccine widely available. He's relied on the advice of his health and medical experts, and he is trying to be a part of solving this crisis, getting the pandemic under control. And I think there's a pretty stark difference between their approaches. Go ahead.
Oh, man, that was a great question, and her answer was pathetic. Because of President Trump, we have the vaccines and the treatments for COVID. Right? Everything. We have everything. Oh, that was a beaut. Oh, Peter Doocy. Oh, man, he's good. Is he not good? And you know what? He wasn't this good in the beginning when he first started being a reporter there. Probably got the job because of his dad, but he's done good now. He is spectacular. And I will tell you, out of all of the White House reporters over the years, he's the best ever. Who's that old lady, the anti-Semite that used to be in there that was there since Kennedy? I forgot her name now. What was her name? Oh, man. Helen Thomas. That was her name. Remember Helen Thomas? Let me tell you, there has never been a White House reporter that asks questions like Peter Doocy. So he was on a roll yesterday. That was spectacular. I can't stand Jen Psaki. I'm sorry. Then Fauci, though, this one's great with Fauci. See, when you're doing this, you got to know who you're dealing with. So he didn't do the 1-2 punch with Jen Psaki. He got it all in one question because he knew he wouldn't get a chance to the setup. Fauci is supposed to be the smartest man in America, maybe the world, right? Fauci is so brilliant that he is allowed to make decisions that affect billions of people. How many people are on the planet today? I don't know what the current population is. But there's a lot. Billions and billions, right? Dr. Fauci is so brilliant, so smart, that every utterance affects billions of people. That's how smart he is. He knows everything. He's the most brilliant man alive. He was humiliated by Peter Doocy yesterday. And I'm going to play it for you after the break, because I looked at I'm not doing this to tease you guys like Todd Schnitt. I don't do teases. I was going to play it, but I got to take our break for the bottom of the hour, and then I'll do it after the break. I don't usually do that, but I'm going to do it this time. It's that good. I don't want to have to play it and break. I want to play it and savor it. Because Dr. Fauci had his stethoscope handed to him yesterday by Peter Doocy, and we want to enjoy it. We'll take our break. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. My name is Brian Craig. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. We'll be right back.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Brian Craig here. Conservative Doug called me up live on the air to tell me about his experience at Friendly Tire.
I had 2 bow ties in the back of my Infiniti, so I called them up, and I feel like I always really check prices first. Half the price of everybody else.
Half the price? Half the price at Friendly Tire. Wow.
Half the price, and not only that, his tires, which nobody, the tires I was looking at, had any mileage guarantee. His is 60,000 mile warranty. So they're not only half the price, but they're twice as good.
So you're a repeat customer over there at Friendly Tire. You bought new tires, right? So you bought new tires, because they also sell used tires, starting at just $30 for most sizes. But you bought new tires, and they were half the price at Friendly Tire than at the other tire shops around town. That is phenomenal, and came with a 60,000 mile warranty on the tires. That's great. And of course, Friendly Friendly Tire, they never charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or dispose of your old tires. The price that they give you are out the door and on the road. And
Greg, everybody should go there. I don't know how anybody can buy tires anyplace else. This guy is the best prices.
That's right. That's right. Listen, give Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire a call. His number, 954-977-9445. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. Did everyone say hi to Sarah in the hospital? She's watching. FriendlyTire.net, or you can just stop right in. The address is listed at SteveKaneShow.com. 5415 Northwest 15th Street in Margate, and that's just a little north of Coconut Creek Parkway on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Well, Conservative Doug, thanks so much, and I'm glad you got such a great deal on your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Seniors, open enrollment is here. I Will Advisors is here to offer you an unbiased comparison of all your Medicare health insurance options. I Will Advisors specialize in education.
Has anyone seen Tim Pool without his
every available
cap on? Oh my gosh, he's bald.
the right choice for your needs. Call us directly at 954.
I might be gray, but not bald. If I went bald, I'd deal with it. I wouldn't wear a winter cap in the summer.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on Heart Radio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, 33 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. Now, Friendly Tire in Margate, open on Saturdays as well, by the way. When you call Friendly Tire, make sure you tell them you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show. He takes very good care of all of his customers, but he goes that extra mile for Steve Kane Show listeners. I know this because Mike tells me and listeners tell me. So make sure you mention you heard about him on the radio, and call Friendly Mike. He'll give you a quote right over the phone at Friendly Tire, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire in Margate. Okay, so Peter Ducey was just on a roll, and you know, Dr. Fauci is not a very, very, very smart man, because when I saw this clip that I'm going to play for you, I didn't know what was coming before I watched it. But when I heard the first question come from Ducey, I knew exactly where he was going with it. And Fauci has gotten so arrogant. He thinks he's the smartest man in every room in the world, because every word out of his mouth affects so many billions of people, billions with a B, whole planets following Fauci's lead. And he was humiliated yesterday, and let's play it now. This was beautiful. Hold on, I better have the clip since I did all this build up to it. Oh, here it is. Okay, Peter Ducey with Fauci yesterday, humiliating Dr. Fauci.
Dr. Fauci, has you advised the president about the possibility of new testing requirements for people coming into this country? Does that include everybody?
The answer. Okay, now when you hear Peter Ducey, ask that question, even liberal Al from Coral Springs, or Al the John, even 420 high on weed would know what was coming next. Okay? But not Dr. Fauci, because he's arrogant. He's smarter than everyone.
Dr. Fauci, has you advised the president about the possibility of new testing requirements for people coming into this country? Does that include everybody?
The answer is yes, because you know that the new regulation, if you want to call it that, is that anybody and everybody who's coming into the country needs to get a test within 24 hours of getting on the plane to come here.
Well, what about people who don't take a plane and just these border crossers coming in huge numbers?
You know, that's a different issue. For example, when you talk, we still have Title 42 with regard to protection at the border. So there are protections at the border that you don't have the capability, as you know, of somebody getting on a plane, getting checked, looking at a passport. We don't have that there. But we can get some degree of mitigation.
Is there something that...
Oh boy! I mean, that was just beautiful. Oh, that's another topic. That's another issue. How's it another issue? And when he talks about planes, they're putting them on planes and flying them all over the country, including right here in Florida. Governor DeSantis has talked about it. So they are getting on planes. What a brilliant moment. I mean, how many of you want to just stand up and applaud Peter Doocy? You know one thing I like about Peter Doocy? Jim Acosta thinks he's like that. Peter Doocy not only does it like a skilled debater, because that's just brilliant the way he did that. The 1-2 punch with Fauci. Does this apply to everyone? Yes. Well, what about all the elite? Oh, well, that's another story. If Fauci didn't see that coming and have a response to neuter what was coming, is he qualified to make decisions that affect every person's life on the planet Earth? He arguably, and this is, if you think about this, and I'm going back, I'm talking about Alexander the Great and everybody else, Fauci has had power over more individuals than any other. And if he didn't see that coming and have a response so that he didn't look like a clown, is he really qualified to be making decisions at that level? I don't think so. I don't think so. And I think he was embarrassed by that, because when the second question came and I saw his body language, he did not look good. He did not look good when he finally realized what had happened. Oh man, that's great stuff. All right, now there's some places there's some news sources that I do not go on the air without checking every morning. I go to a lot of different news sources. I do it all day, all night. I'm always looking in the news. But in the mornings, when I'm doing my show prep in the morning, and I want to find out what's new, there are about half a dozen sources that I go to first, and I don't go anywhere without going to them, because I know they all have not just the updated stories, but the stories that the mainstream media will not even talk about. And one of them is the Gateway Pundit. The Gateway Pundit, they have such great news, you cannot even post their stories to Facebook. They've been blocked on Facebook for as long as I can remember. That's how good they are. TheGatewayPundit.com. And they got good stuff. And they have a story about Biden here that I've seen nowhere else. And it's a good one. Listen to this. It's in the Gateway Pundit this morning. Joe Biden spoke to a small audience at Dakota County Technical College in Minnesota Tuesday. You may have seen that in the news. It was a surprise visit. The regime knew, they're talking about the Biden administration, the regime knew they could not announce Biden's arrival or there would be massive protest, so they hid his trip from the community. Despite this, there were hordes of Trump supporters who gathered on the highway to greet Biden, screaming, "F Joe Biden," as he drove by. Outside Joe Biden's rally, Dakota Tech students told independent journalists that the students inside the school were all bussed in from the Twin Cities. The school sent out an email at 3 a.m. in the morning to the Dakota County Tech students telling them to stay home that day and skip school. The students all said the so-called students inside were all plants. Yes, 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 yes. Isn't that something? And the reason they did that is because they didn't want students inside. You know, students would be there. If he went there at a surprise visit at a school, they would dismiss classes and take them to the auditorium, and they'd fill up the auditorium, but it would be filled with people they couldn't control. They could be screaming like the people outside, "F Joe Biden, let's go Brandon," you know, all that stuff. And that's a huge news story. And, you know, the entire White House press corps was there. And I'm assuming that includes Peter Doocy, who I was praising this morning. But where is that story in the news? All fake, all plants. See, that's why Facebook won't let Gateway Pundit stories be posted on their web, because they have truthful stories. And there are videos of them interviewing the real students, you know, so it is a factual story, and one that the media is not that interested in. You know, Peter Ducey's very good, so I don't want to tear him down, but he can only go so far before he, you know, never gets called on again. So he has to walk on eggshells too. But that is, that's something. And in the future, I really truly hope that some of these reporters check out, when they go to an event like this, who these people are, and find out if, and you can't just ask them for an ID to show you a student ID from the school so you'll know it. But that, when I saw that story today, that really, that is some very hardcore propaganda coming out of the Biden White House. Now, there's a story today. People are making a lot of news about this woman who just quit working for Kamala Harris, Simone Sanders. And Simone Sanders, before she was working, I think, did she used to work for Bernie? Who did she work for before Kamala? Did she work for Bernie? I can't remember. She's worked for a few Democrats, and she was a pundit either on MSNBC or CNN. And she's a very nasty liberal woman. And she currently is a senior advisor and the senior spokesperson to Kamala Harris. She's quit her job. She has not been fired. She has quit her job. And now that's very interesting to me. I saw the coverage of this, and they're just reporting, oh, she quit. And they're not getting to the heart of that. Why is that? Why is that? Simone Sanders, if you saw her, she's not a famous name, but you would recognize her. She's a black woman with a shaved head. She's got a little bit of hair on top. She doesn't wear wigs like a lot of black women do. And she was a very left-wing pundit on the cable news for a long time. So you would recognize her, and she's very militant. Why did she quit? Even if she was fired, why was she fired? Why has she left Kamala Harris? If she quit, which is what's being reported, and I think that's true, I think she did quit. She's a very, very connected political operative. If she thought Kamala was going places, if she thought Kamala was going to be president, do you think she'd quit that job? Because she'd be working for the president. Did she quit because Kamala Harris is a nasty person to work for? There's a lot of questions here with this. And it's being reported everywhere. Simone Sanders leaving, Simone Sanders leaving. But none of them are getting to why. How did this happen? Something happened that had her say, I do not want to work for this lady anymore. What could that have been? All right, we'll take our last break of the second hour of the program. My name's Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
You've heard Steve Kane talk about the great work and the incredible prices at Dr. Gupta's Brighton Dental. Richie the bus driver called Steve Kane on the air and told
Steve Kane Show.
Experience at Brighton Dental.
Good morning. I have to talk
Steve
about
Kane Show.
Brighton Dental because your sponsor is a miracle worker.
Didn't you call earlier? You already called, didn't you? It's once a day. No, once a day. Once a day. Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
He said it was temporary. He did such a great job. It feels like permanent. I have no pain. I can eat anything I want now. And the fact of the matter, this is what really was unbelievable. I was getting on the bus to go to the reception, okay, in New York City. He knew I was in New York. The phone rings. Who do you think's on the line? Dr. Gupta. Right. He wants to see if everything is going okay, and if I'm in any pain. The guy is unbelievably wonderful. I mean, thank you so much. I wouldn't have been able to eat. I wouldn't have been able to go. I would have looked like a pumpkin.
Everybody needs a great dentist, and of course, for you Steve Kane listeners, you have one. Dr. Gupta, and he's over there at Brighton Dental. He takes really good care of you. He's very conscientious. He's, dentistry is an art when you stop and you think about it. And Dr. Gupta certainly is an artist, and we're so pleased to have him with us.
Yeah, I just wanted them to know if you need a dentist, and the guy is so good at what he does. He's so gentle, and I mean, I don't like dentists. This guy is tough show, and I'm going down to him to get it permanently put in. But right now, I don't have any pain. I can eat anything I want. Incredible.
Take Richie the Bright advice and go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. Call 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe...
No, that was 420 that called in.
Amputation.
That I said no to.
Authority at little or no cost. You can receive your very own therapy.
Andrea, $5 super chat. Thank you. Everyone thank Andrea. I called Alec Coward, which is name calling. That makes me no different than he is. I apologize for that. Love Sarah and love friends in the chat.
Authority today, 954-597-7060. Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, now, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve will be joining us at the top of the hour. So, this Supreme Court case yesterday with the abortion issue with Roe v. Wade, the left are in a panic over this. At least they appeared to be yesterday. And I was telling Steve, yesterday, I think the Democrats want the Supreme Court to rule against Roe v. Wade. Because they're in such a bad spot right now that's a good issue with the Democrats to run on. It really is. Yeah. So I think the liberals are on our side on the Roe v. Wade, and in the Roe v. Wade question, if Roe v. Wade disappears with this ruling, there will still be abortions all over this country. It just means the states will be able to forbid them, and which they can't do now. The federal government overruled the state on abortions. That's all it is. You'll still be able to get abortions all over the place. But yesterday in the hearing, Clarence Thomas did something he does not do very often. He asked questions. I remember a few years back, Clarence Thomas asked a question during a Supreme Court hearing. It was the first time he spoke in 10 years in a hearing. He does not talk much. He's a listener. And if any of you were listening to the audio coming out of the court, it was it's terminal, isn't it? But he asked two questions yesterday, and they're very good questions from Clarence Thomas. But they also tell us that I think that the court's going to rule. I mean, these were very, very, very good questions. And it's a big deal, the questions, because Clarence Thomas talks so little. But here he asked two questions. Here's the first one yesterday. This is Clarence Thomas. Would you specifically state what the right is? Is it specifically abortion? Is it liberty? Is it autonomy? Is it privacy? Thomas asked. Okay, that's a very good question. The next question, though, I just lost the internet. Great, because I don't have the second question. I don't have the second question memorized, so I gotta hold on. I got my internet back. Let me find the question. Okay, here's the second question that Clarence Thomas asked. This is a good question. This is the better of the two. Listen to this. Does a mother have a right to ingest drugs and harm a pre-viable baby? Isn't that a good question? Can the mother do her own self-abortion at home? Here's the second question. Can the state bring child neglect charges against the mother if she ingests drugs? Those are great questions. Isn't it amazing? Clarence Thomas is a very smart man. We don't hear him talk anymore, right? You don't hear him talk, so people don't realize he is brilliant. And those questions are spectacular questions. Now, Joy Reid, last night, she has this guy on whose name is Ellie something or other. Yeah, he's a man named Ellie. I thought Ellie was a a girl's name, but it's this. And if you've ever seen, you've seen him on her show. If you ever watched Joy Reid, because he's on every show. He's black and he has white hair and a huge afro. It's very strange. You know, he kind of has like the afro version of Albert Einstein's hairdo. It's very strange. And yeah, I thought Clarence Thomas was brilliant there. But over on MSNBC, they were down in the gutter a little bit. This is Joy Reid's guest talking about the court case yesterday. Listen.
You to think that a fetus, a fetus who has pre-viability, that means that it cannot exist outside of its mother, it cannot live outside of the womb, should have the same legal rights as full-grown black people in this country. And that the fact that it doesn't is some kind of miscarriage of justice, no pun intended, and that the people who shouldn't have the full rights are the women who are carrying the fetus. Now, I can prove that a fetus is not deserving of full personhood rights, because if it were, they would be arguing that the fetus should be given citizenship. They would be arguing that the fetus should have other rights, like a right to education or right to health care. They would be arguing that I should be able to claim fetuses as dependents on my taxes, which you'll note they're not. They're only concerned about the right of a fetus when that right can be used to diminish the rights of women, and that is what the conservatives are all about on the Supreme Court. That is what you heard in stark, and I think you used the right word, offensive language throughout the court's arguments today. But this is the day that conservatives have been planning for a generation.
Yeah, for a generation. It looks like we're going to win this, hopefully. That is really sad to me, that discussion with Joy Reid and this man named Ellie. And it's not just because I'm pro-life, and I am, and I know most of you probably are too if you're listening to the show. And everything about Joy Reid and her guest involves race and race relations and black and white issues. For my entire life, the black population of this country has been about 12% of the population. In different areas of the country, it's higher, but in America as a whole, the black population has been between 12 and 13% my entire life. Why do you think that is? Why is the black population not grown to 15 or 20% of the population? Or 25% of the population? Why is that? I would say that the main reason is abortion. And, you know, Joy Reid and her guest, Mr. Ellie here, anybody remember who Miss Ellie was? Miss Ellie? Anybody remember Miss Ellie? Who was Miss Ellie? Anyone know? Don't call me, but, think about it. Mr. Ellie here, the issues that she gripes about every night would be solved in her favor if the black population has grown or was bigger. But it's maintained the same percentage of the U.S. population for 50 years. The only thing I can think of that has caused that is abortion. And I'm not the only one who thinks this, because sadly African Americans account for a very high percentage of abortions. But these racial issues that she talks about would be over, because blacks, if it were not for abortion, the black population would be 20 to 25% of the population of this country. And that's a strong block of support. It may even be higher. And if that was a show with adult thinking on it, someone would bring that up to Mr. Ellie here and Joy Reid and her friend Tiffany Cross on the weekend. All right, let me take some calls. The number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. And I just say, they think it's all about politics with Republicans on this issue, is what they were talking about. It goes against our politics for blacks to become a majority in this country, a larger percentage of the population, because they would tend to vote Democrat. But we're pro-life. We're not thinking about it in a political way. We're thinking about it in a moral way, a humane way. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. Good morning. You're on the radio.
are you doing today?
Oh, hey, Wisconsin Gary, what's up?
You know, if you look at the Constitution, and I'll come back to one of the justices. If you look at the Constitution, it says nothing about birth. It says nothing about abortion. Nothing at all. So, like, when Justice Kavanaugh yesterday basically said about being neutral, because technically there's nothing in the Constitution. So when everybody was raising something that's saying that this is unconstitutional, they need to read the Constitution a little bit better, because believe me, murder is murder. It don't matter if you kill with a gun, kill with a pen, kill with a fingernail clipper. Murder is murder.
Well, you know they hide behind, they use the right to privacy, and if you noticed yesterday, I've been following this pro-life abortion debate from ever, and there was a term and a phrase that I didn't hear once yesterday from any liberal that I used to hear all the time when this issue was debated. Medical decisions are between a patient and a doctor, and no one else's business, and abortion's a medical decision. So they would always say, these decisions are between a patient and a doctor. These decisions are only to be made between a woman and her doctor, and it's no one else's business. But because of the state of the world we're in now with mandates, they're not talking about medical privacy any longer. So they've shut down their own arguments.
That I want to get to kind of mention on for a side comparison. In Wisconsin, a long time ago, and I mentioned this in Marco Polo, but in Wisconsin, if you are married and you want to get a vasectomy, you've got to actually notify your wife. They got to notify your wife to see if it's okay to get a vasectomy. Now, states are different. Every state is different. Don't get me wrong on that. But it's like for the guy, he's got to report everything to the wife. But if this guy wanted a baby and everything else, and the woman didn't want it, that's holding him against his right of having a child.
Well, that's an interesting thing. I've never heard that before, because if a married man is getting a vasectomy without his wife's knowledge, that probably means he wants to screw around.
Exactly, and the same thing, like, believe it or not, in credit cards. If you're married and you decide to get a credit card, they got to notify your wife.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes, my wife already knew I was getting a credit card, but they sent her a notice in the mail.
Oh, boy.
Hey, your husband's getting a credit card.
Wow, I did not know that.
For a woman, you can't get away with that. Or you can go have a full hysterectomy and go get a credit card, and the husband doesn't get notified.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. That's wow. Yeah, women have all kinds of rights. Hey, Gary, I got to run, but I'll give you the last word.
You bet, Brian.
All right, his last word was you bet, Brian. Okay. Those are good last words. Hey, we're coming up on 8 o'clock. If you're on hold, stand by. Steve will be joining us after the break.
Covered AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
We all know how beautiful and lush Florida is, with the abundance of trees and bushes. But if you want your home to look great, all of that greenery needs to be
Steve Kane Show.
and well kept. So when it comes to trimming
Hold
your
on.
trees, you want a pro, one who knows how to cut, when to cut, and the difference in each type of tree. And the best in South Florida are the professionals at GoPro Professional Property Care. With over 50 years of experience in South Florida, they know what's best for your trees and how to make your home look spectacular. With all the electrical wiring around, tree trimming is too dangerous to do yourself and requires a professional that you will not find by hiring just some guy with a truck who knocks on your front door. In fact, tree trimming is so much more than just cutting branches. It's about maintenance and keeping your trees healthy and having curb appeal. GoPro Professional Property Care is licensed and insured, available 24/7 for any tree emergency. GoPro does it all too. Tree trimming, pruning, tree removal, stump grinding, root removal, lawn care, and installation. And that's just the start of what they do. Call Nathan. He's Steve Kane's personal tree trimmer. And now he wants to work with you. 954-680-7739. He's also available for condos, HOAs, and businesses. 954-680-7739. 954-680-7739. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. 954-680-7739.
Seniors, open enrollment is here. I Will Advisors is here to offer you an unbiased comparison of all your Medicare health insurance options. I Will Advisors specialize in educating Medicare beneficiaries on every available option to ensure you make the right choice for your needs. Call us directly at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-CANE-1.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. The third hour has begun. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. I'm Brian. You with us, Steve? Gotcha. Good. So, how's it going today?
Swimming with all this.
Oh, my goodness, I know.
It's unbelievable.
I know.
Watching these riots in San Francisco yesterday, and it's spreading, they say.
What do you mean riots? I thought they were just doing some Christmas shopping at Louis Vuitton or whatever.
Filling in the last-minute gifts on the gift list.
Yeah, they're running a special sale in San Francisco, free.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
Yeah, the flash mob special. I'll tell you, I want to ask you this, okay? Are you talking about the going into the stores and ripping all the merch out?
Violence I'm watching on television that just has people, most of them dressed in black, running around like ants on an anthill. It's really scary, and the cops powerless to stop it, evidently.
Well, I noticed something about these raids they're doing on the stores in California, and I think what you're watching are people leaving the stores. They're going into these high-end stores and stealing the expensive purses, right, like Louis Vuitton and everything. And I noticed they're just ripping them off the shelves. I thought these things had security tags with a little cable that had them connected to something. I don't see them cutting cables. It seems like they're setting the stores up to steal. You know what I mean? I don't understand how you can have like $2,000 purses that you can just walk off the shelf with.
It's a good question. If we have some people in the audience that are into retail, maybe
yeah.
Shed some light.
Yeah, I don't know anything about high-end stores like that, but I just assumed everything had a security thing.
Let me ask you a question. What keeps New York? We all saw the horrible goings-on in San Francisco, much of it occurring yesterday. Can you imagine that type of heavy-duty wholesale looting going on in New York City?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Do we agree that it hasn't happened yet?
Some of that might be the weather. It's pretty cold in New York City right now. In California, the weather's not so cold.
The weather should slow them down.
Yeah. The weather in California is warmer.
They talk about the heat of the summer, adding to the long, hot summers, in that context. So I would imagine the cold is, if anything, limiting the number of people.
Well, what I was wondering in California, and it's a serious question out there. I'm asking people that are in retail. The ones in particular I saw in a Nordstrom's and some others, and they go for the expensive purses, the Gucci, the Louis Vuitton. Yeah, they hit an Apple store too, and I've been to the Apple store here, and everything is tied with a cable to the desk. What I'm wondering is, because of the mobs in California, have they disabled their security in stores in San Francisco and in Los Angeles because they want people to be able to steal and get out quick without endangering customers or workers? Have they taken away their shoplifting mechanisms so that the people get in and get out when they hit them?
Well, technical, maybe somebody in the...
We got to have people that work in retail and that work in high-end, or at least I know we have people that shop in high-end retail.
you notice all these books that have been coming out about Trump and all that. It's become almost a joke. Everybody's got a book out. I'm just wondering what the books are going to look like when they get around to writing about what's going on now. When we get the White House, I'm talking about. Well, more for the riots.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we speculated about who's in charge and whether this lady, this assistant, chief assistant to
Kamala? Yeah, Simone Sanders.
whether she quit or not. You're assuming she quit.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling she didn't quit. I have a feeling she was made an offer she couldn't refuse. They say, you know, you have an opportunity to quit and save face if you want, but if not, you're going to get fired. I think that was probably, I don't know why I say that. I mean, I don't have factual evidence to back that up. I just have a feeling in my gut about it.
Well, nothing has happened with the. Well, you know, there was actually that's. Well, hold on. No. I'm talking about with Kamala. There was a minor story with Kamala that made her look really stupid the other day that I didn't even mention because it was so trivial. But I think Kamala is a petty person. Simone Sanders is not just a senior advisor; she's her chief spokesperson. And she handles the press, and Kamala got some very negative press. We didn't talk about it because it seemed like a nothing thing. On some purchases she made in Europe. She bought like a $400 plate or something, and that story actually got global attention about how out of touch she was with reality and working people because of this plate. And it was a lot of stories on that. Maybe she blamed this lady for doing it, for that story getting out. If she fired somebody, something happened.
She fired somebody. I think what's happening is we've been operating under the assumption all along here that Joe Biden is not his own man.
Yes.
Basically, somebody's pulling the strings. We seem to have a consensus on that. Well, if that's the case, if there is somebody up there that really is pulling the strings, you can imagine. You can imagine it's reasonable to assume that.
Well, you know that. Yeah. Well, the thing with. Yeah.
I think it's a question of loyalties. I think there are those people loyal to Biden, and there are those people that are loyal to Kamala.
Oh, so you think Biden fired? You think Biden fired her?
I think Biden's people. You know, the people behind the scenes with Biden.
She's a black woman. It's not that easy to fire a black woman.
It didn't look very difficult yesterday when they did it. Like the Queen of Hearts, off with his head, off with her head.
Really? Okay, so you.
Well, she was. I mean, that's factual. I mean, the fact is, we woke up in the morning, opened the newspaper, and they announced that she wasn't going to be there.
Well, they didn't say fired though.
They're not going to use the word fired because they're trying to cover up the dysfunction of Kamala and her team.
So why would they fire someone from Kamala's team? They were making a power play or something?
Because the person they fired was faithful to Kamala and not to the president.
Oh. No, that's possible. Well, the woman, Simone Sanders, a lot of you don't know her, but she was a pundit on CNN or MSNBC, and she's very mouthy. She's always angry. She's a Joy Reid type. She's always pissed off. The chances of her keeping her mouth shut and not leaking something out if she was let go like that are slim at some point. She's not a very in-controlled person. I've seen her on TV lose her cool many times. Many times. Let me give out the number, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, toll-free call, 1-888-465-2631. Let's take a call or two. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name?
Christian Knuckles. I wanted to talk, Brian, about a giant fallacy you just perpetrated on your audience.
Oh.
When you said that the population of blacks should increase in percentage, that ignores the fact that the entire population is increasing. So the percentage, if the population of blacks is increasing in order to maintain the 12%.
Okay, let me explain. Let me explain about the thing. If we start doing math, This will be the Joyce Kaufman show. Everyone will be sleeping. But let me just clarify. No, let me just clarify what I'm talking about here. Okay, the Joy Reid is arguing to keep abortion legal. Now, obviously, blacks are a small minority in this country, 12% or so of the population. But the black community, they're still a minority, and the population has remained at that percentage for 50 years. The black community per capita have more abortions than other communities, than Hispanics, than whites. What I'm telling you is that the liberals like the population of blacks being 12% and want to keep it that way, and they have found a system to do it. It's called abortion.
Whites is decreasing in percentage-wise. That is where the abortions are happening. The percentage of whites is decreasing.
No, if you go online, I'm not going to I did not do this morning, but we used to do a lot of shows on this years ago. Steve, you know this better than me. A larger percentage of the black community have abortions than in the white community. So, and it's a.
Christian, this cries out for one of your
public service announcements. Yeah. To save the children. Hey, Christian, take care. I ran into him at the Trump boat parade in Jupiter a while back. He's a good guy. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Now, I made this announcement in the first hour. I'm going to announce it again. This is amazing. Yesterday morning, I got a call from Mike Lindell's office. And I think many of you know, but some of you were off last week or part of last week. Steve and I were on live Thanksgiving and Black Friday. We did both shows live. We were asked to do this by Mike Lindell and MyPillow as a special promotion for MyPillow. And we gave up our 2 days off. And those are big days for me because every year I turn Thanksgiving weekend, I consider getting off the air Wednesday, like a day off. So like I got my 5-day vacation every year, with Thanksgiving. We gave it up for Mike Lindell and MyPillow. And it was such a massive success. They called me yesterday. We broke a record, Steve, for a local radio broadcast and the number of sales that they made. It was a humongous response, so much so they called me yesterday. And Mike Lindell and MyPillow wanted us to thank the Steve Kane listening audience for their support, not just of the Steve Kane Show, we're thanking you for that, but also Mike Lindell and MyPillow. And it was just an amazing response, and it was well worth us coming in on both of those days that you guys could show your support for Mike Lindell, who, Steve, he's being sued for over $1 billion, Mike Lindell.
Amazing man.
What they want to do is have him lose the lawsuit and steal his great company from him. I mean, these are some real devious people that he's dealing with, and
people that are trying to destroy Trump.
Yeah.
Are trying to destroy Mike Lindell.
Yeah, and what Mike Lindell has asked us to do, and we're going to continue to do this, and I know you guys are going to do your part, is stand up against this cancel culture that is trying to cancel him and MyPillow and MAGA. And, he is when you look at companies outside of like what we're doing, talk radio, he is the most out-of-the-closet MAGA national corporation there is. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. And they're trying to cancel him for this, and we're not going to let that happen. And I asked them, Steve, and they did this. This is an amazing thing. There was one of their specials for the Black Friday weekend. I asked them if they could keep this going through at least the holiday season, and they said, well, let me check, and they did it. If you go to mypillow.com and click on the radio listener specials, with the promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, there are some incredible specials, and there's a couple I want to highlight because they're such incredible deals. This is the one I asked them if they could keep going for our listeners as a show of appreciation for the support they gave over the Black Friday weekend and the Thanksgiving weekend. The MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper, the thickest mattress topper that Mike Lindell makes. This is the mattress topper that I sleep on every night. It'll change your life, the MyPillow mattress topper. It makes a great gift. It comes in a box that is perfect for wrapping and putting under the tree. But if it's somebody that's out of town, you can have it shipped to them too, and it'll be a gift that they will remember and thank you for years to come. The 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper with the promo code Kane, 50% off with the promo code Kane. This is the lowest price ever, and it's a lower price than I got on mine, and it's an incredible deal, 50% off. This is not going to last forever, though. I asked them to extend that as a favor and as a show of appreciation to the Steve Kane audience, and they did it. Again, this is at mypillow.com. Click on the radio listener specials. Another two that I want to tell you about is the MyPillow towel set. They are offering the MyPillow towel set. Now, this is radio listener specials with the promo code Kane. Regular price, $110. A 6-piece MyPillow towel set. I dry off with mine every morning when I get out of the shower. Regularly $110 with the promo code Kane at checkout. Kane, $39.99. That's yeah. The 6-piece MyPillow towel set, $39.99. That is the lowest price ever, and that's also temporary, but that is an incredible deal. There's other great specials there too. You can take advantage of all of them with the promo code Kane, but those in particular are the two lowest. 50% off the 3-inch mattress topper. That is not going to last, and you want to take advantage of that. It makes a great, great gift. All right, we'll take our break and be right back.
You covered AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hi, Tom Laporta here from
Steve Kane Show. Oh, hey, Barry, hold on. Steve Kane Show, hold on.
Now it's time to get your building envelope ready for the next season. Laporta Contracting installs all types of roofs, from asphalt, clay, and concrete, standing metal seam, flat roofs, and slate tile systems. Our building restoration offers complete envelope protection to include siding, stucco, concrete restoration, impact windows and doors, weatherproofing, and painting. Laporta Contracting serves single-family, multifamily, HOAs, and commercial properties. Call Laporta Contracting today for a free evaluation and estimate, and go to our website to see our team and past customer videos at laportacontracting.com. Our number is 954-604-4602. That number again is 954-604-4602. And thanks for listening to The Steve Kane Show.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, we're back, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
We're doing great. What do you have for us today, Barry?
Well, what I was going to talk about today, something you've heard me talk about at the workshops, but I don't know if I've really brought it up on your show, at least not for a long time, and that's about our free service packages that we provide to our estate planning clients. And it's really designed to make sure that people have an estate plan that's going to work when they need it to work. And there's certain points in the process where things can end up getting stalled if we don't do this. And that free service package includes, number one, a free review every 3 years. And that way we can make sure that everything is reviewed, make sure all the assets are funded in the trust, make sure everything remains up to date. Secondly, we will do free phone calls for our clients, just because a lot of times they will have questions after they finish their documents. It might be about funding, might be about how the documents work, whatever it may be. And we charge, if an attorney charges, and you get one of those 0.1, 0.2 hours bills in the mail, clients just may not call, and we want them to get the answers that they need. We will do a free post-death consultation with the trustee, because most people don't know how to act as a trustee, what to do, and so we will review that information with them and guide them. So
Yeah, and those are all great offerings. And, you know, the thing about the free phone calls, my attorney for the HOA that I live in, I can get this guy on the phone all the time, and I was really impressed by it. And then someone from the board says, he charges us every time you call him. Stop calling Brian. You know, but Attorney Barry Siegel and the Siegel Law Group, that's something that they offer for free to clients, and that's really unheard of in the legal industry, as are the other things that Barry talked about. They're absolutely amazing things. Listen, give them a call. It's a completely free consultation with the Siegel Law Group when you mention you heard them on the Steve Kane Radio Show. Online, SiegelLawGroup.com, or call toll-free, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. All right, Barry, we will talk tomorrow. All right. Take care. So I talked in the first hour, Steve. Alec Baldwin's gone total psycho. And let me play this one clip of the promo. Now, George Stephanopoulos, Clintonista, George Stephanopoulos, he's interviewed Alec Baldwin. And they released a promo. The interview is going to be on TV today. And, you know, Alec Baldwin does lie for a living. I mean, he's an actor. That's what actors do. They tell you they pretend, but he's a liar for a living. He's made many millions of dollars lying to people. And he does this interview with George Stephanopoulos, and he is claiming that he did not pull the trigger to the gun that killed a woman and shot another. Let me play this for you. Now, this is just their promo advertising the interview, but I'm sure we'll have some clips of the full interview tomorrow. Listen.
You described it as a 1 in a trillion shot, and the gun was in your hand. How do you come to terms with that? It wasn't in the script for the trigger to be pulled.
Well, the trigger wasn't pulled. I didn't pull the trigger.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull the trigger at them, never.
What did you think happened? How did a real bullet get out that set?
I have no idea. Someone put a live bullet in a gun, a bullet that wasn't even supposed to be on the property.
How do you respond to actors like George Clooney who say that every time they were handed a gun, they checked it themselves? Your emotions are so clearly so right there on the surface. You felt shock. You felt anger. You felt sadness. Do you feel guilt? You said you're not a victim, but is this the worst thing that's ever happened to you?
Yes. Yeah. Because I think back, and I think of what could I have done.
Oh boy, Alec Baldwin. I cannot believe that his attorneys did not tell him not to do this interview. I mean, this is damning stuff. I mean, is there any way that you can fire a gun without pulling the trigger?
No. Triggers have different degrees of sensitivity.
You had a hair trigger gun once. You got rid of it.
Yes. It's very nerve-wracking because all you'd have to really do is brush the
Yeah, I mean, I know I handled that gun when it was unloaded. But that's not what Alec Baldwin said. He didn't say that there was a hair trigger. He said he didn't pull the trigger. So I would never point a gun and pull the trigger. And you know, this interview.
I mean, but that doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Guns don't go off by themselves. No matter how light the trigger is, guns don't go off by themselves. Someone pulled the trigger. He was standing there. He had the gun in his hand. The gun went off. The guy who pulls the trigger is going to be responsible.
Well, unless he's alleging there was a second shooter.
Oh.
Which I don't think he's alleging. You know, the problem with this interview, and we're not going to get good answers, is George Stephanopoulos asked some good questions, but the follow-ups are going to be weak. Because, first off, Stephanopoulos, who's a liberal jerk, okay, Clintonista, he used to do for Clinton what Fredo Cuomo was doing at CNN for his brother. A woman would be a victim of Bill Clinton's unwanted sexual advances. She'd come public, and George Stephanopoulos was a part of the team that would try to destroy a woman's reputation and life because she spoke up about being victimized. So he's a low-life person. But I'm sure he's friends with Alec Baldwin because they're both New Yorkers. So I'm sure that they have been in the same social circle, so they're like buddies, and he's doing the interview. But Stephanopoulos doesn't know anything about guns, being a New York liberal. And if he told me he didn't pull the trigger, I'd want to get into that. That's fascinating to me. And I know about guns.
Baldwin doesn't have.
Well, yeah, right. He's killed someone. I haven't. But Stephanopoulos doesn't know enough about guns, I think, to walk through how the gun went off with him without him pulling the trigger. I'd love to hear Alec explain that.
There'll be follow-up on this, and we'll probably, within a week.
Well, if this were like, say, Tucker Carlson or Sean Hannity had shot and killed someone in a similar instance, ABC News at the end of an interview like this would have an expert demonstrate with the same type of gun in the same situation how it's impossible for it to fire without pulling the trigger. But they're not going to do that because they want to protect Alec Baldwin. Now, you don't think anything's going to happen to Alec Baldwin?
No. I mean, there may be fines. I don't think he's going to do jail time.
You don't think there'll be a trial for manslaughter?
I think there's just about as much chance of Alec Baldwin going to jail as there is of Hunter Biden going to jail. And in fact, in many ways, the two examples are analogous.
Well, Hunter Biden hasn't killed anyone, right? He's committed white collar crimes and.
Right on the issue of what consequences, the two events parallel themselves personally, because I mean that's what I'm predicting. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe they'll sentence him 6 months in jail. I would be. Come on, Brian. Tell me you wouldn't be amazed if he did jail time.
I could see him being acquitted in a trial because if they have enough women on there, because women have a thing for the Baldwins. But I can see him getting arrested, charged with manslaughter, and being tried for manslaughter in New Mexico. Yeah, I could see that.
And convicted?
He could be acquitted, but you don't think he'll be arrested and charged with manslaughter? He killed a woman.
Whatever will be the consequences for this act, he's not going to do jail time for it.
But will he be arrested and put on trial? You don't think he'll... Wow. Because he's famous?
They're rich and famous.
Well, yeah.
Do you know how many, if he's working on a couple of films now or whatever it is, do you know how much it costs the people in Hollywood to alter plans if you want to?
Harvey Weinstein produced more money than Alec Baldwin ever will because he was a producer of a whole studio, and this wasn't in California, it was in New Mexico. If this was in California, they'd have that kind of juice, but in New Mexico, I don't know. And he's not a big movie star anymore. He's kind of like he was producing the movie.
He's an icon.
Yeah. When's the last good movie you saw him in? Yeah, right. Now.
Anything like.
Well, there's in Hollywood, there's a big backlash against white men, and him being a white guy is a factor that that could be factored into him facing some justice too.
Applies to movie stars.
Okay. Well, Robert Blake got away with murder. But there's a big.
That's an example that supports my contention.
But there's a difference here. Okay, what's going to be different here is they were blocking the scene. Okay, there's no way that they did not have multiple cameras running so that they could look at the rehearsal blocking that they did. Well, we don't know. We got to speculate. But if there is film, and there could be film from multiple angles of the incident, and we see a woman, we see him goofing off with a gun, and then we're not going to see the woman because she would be off. She was the cinematographer. She'd be behind the camera. This whole thing could be on camera, and someone sees him on camera on a jury shooting a woman dead. That's a whole nother thing. We didn't have that with if we would have had film of Robert Blake or OJ killing their wives, it would have been a different verdict. It's just like the video saved Kyle Rittenhouse. The film could convict Alec Baldwin. There's no way there's not a film of that. They had to have cameras running. That's during the blocking of a scene. Wouldn't they be running at least video cameras so that they could check and see what it was going to look like? And that film could do him in. All right, listen, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. It's 31 minutes after 8. Our number toll free, 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Brian Craig here. Conservative Doug called me up live on the air to tell me about his experience at Friendly Tire.
I took bow ties in the back of my Infiniti. So I called them up, and I always check prices first. Half the price of everybody else.
Half the price?
And
half the price at Friendly Tire. Wow.
half the price, and not only that, his tires, which nobody, the tires I was looking at, had any mileage guarantee. His is 60,000 mile warranty. So they're not only half the price, but they're twice as good.
So you're a repeat customer over there at Friendly Tire. You bought new tires, right? So you bought new tires, because they also sell used tires, starting at just $30 for most sizes. But you bought new tires, and they were half the price at Friendly Tire than at the other tire shops around town. That is phenomenal, and came with a 60,000 mile warranty on the tires. That's great. And of course, Friendly Tire, they never charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or dispose of your old tires. The price that they give you are out the door and on the road. And
everybody should go there. I don't know how anybody can buy tires anyplace else. This guy is the best prices.
That's right. That's right. Listen, give Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire a call. His number, 954-977-9445. He'll give you a quote right over the phone, 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net, or you can just stop right in. The address is listed at stevekaneshow.com. 5415 Northwest 15th Street in Margate, and that's just a little north of Coconut Creek Parkway on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Well, Conservative Doug, thanks so much, and I'm glad you got such a great deal on your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
We all know how beautiful and lush Florida is, with the abundance of trees and bushes. But if you want your home to look great, all of that greenery needs to be trimmed and well kept. So when it comes to trimming your trees, you want a pro, one who knows how to cut, when to cut, and the difference in each type of tree. And the best in South Florida are the professionals at GoPro Professional Property Care. With over 50 years of experience in South Florida, they know what's best for your trees and how to make your home look spectacular. With all the electrical wiring around, tree trimming is too dangerous to do yourself and requires a professional that you will not find by hiring just some guy with a truck who knocks on your front door. In fact, tree trimming is so much more than just cutting branches. It's about maintenance and keeping your trees healthy and having curb appeal. GoPro Professional Property Care is licensed and insured, available 24/7 for any tree emergency. GoPro does it all too. Tree trimming, pruning, tree removal, stump grinding, root removal, lawn care, and installation. And that's just the start of what they do. Call Nathan. He's Steve Kane's personal tree trimmer, and now he wants to work with you. 954-680-7739. He's also available for condos, HOAs, and businesses. 954-680-7739. 954-680-7739. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. 954-680-7739.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. Steve is with us. Oh man! So, has everyone on your street come by, knocked on the door, and thanked you for having GoPro trim and sculpt those out of control trees you had?
Okay, I've made comments on it. There's no questioning. What a great job, Nathan.
Well, you know, we were talking about.
I've decided, at first I was just going to do that tree. I've decided I'm going to let him do some heavy-duty landscape.
Yeah.
Because it depreciates the price of your property, the value of your property, and what a difference it makes.
Well, you know, this is the deal, okay, with Nathan over at GoPro. When you do something that's very not smart to do. Trim your own trees, which is very dangerous, very dangerous. You don't want to have anything to do. You can kill yourself. Yeah, well, you can kill yourself too if you do it yourself, because the chainsaw is dangerous. But if you hire, like I know a lot of guys, they mow your lawn and then they say, hey, we can trim your trees. There's a big difference between hiring the lawn crew guy to trim your tree and hiring Nathan over a GoPro. Each tree is different. You want to trim trees based on a number of things. One, so the tree's not killed. But every tree requires a different type of trimming. And what Nathan at GoPro does, I would describe it really as sculpting the tree. Kind of like what you would see like at Disney World or a fine resort, is sculpting the tree and shaping the tree so that it not only looks good right after it's cut, but is trimmed and sculpted and shaped in such a way that when it does start to grow out, it grows in the desired way that has the best curb appeal, and that's what he does. So give him a call. And all of our sponsors are listed at SteveKaneShow.com on the sculpture page, on the sponsor page. Okay, you'll see a picture of Steve holding a glass of champagne. It says sponsor on it. Click it, and you'll see all our sponsors' contact information come up right there for you. And give Nathan over at GoPro a call. They do great work. And your backyard tree was like grown halfway across your lake, so you could have crossed the lake just by tree over there. And it also, yeah, so give him a call. All right, so that's that about Alec Baldwin, but I'm hoping he gets arrested. Now, John Roberts is a real lowlife. This guy is such a lowlife snake. George W. Bush, he's the, that's the Bush legacy. Everything, the abortion talk yesterday, did you hear John Roberts came up with a compromise?
You're talking about the Supreme Court?
Mm-hmm, yeah, John, not the Fox News reporter, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. George W. Bush made him Chief Justice so he could spend the rest of his life betraying conservatives, the Constitution, and screwing the country over. He had a compromise. On, he said, this is what Roberts said, that right now, viability of a fetus outside the womb is at about 23 weeks. Okay? So what he is suggesting is let the state ban of 15 weeks go into effect, but nothing beyond that. No restrictions beyond that point. Because, give me a break. He suggested he would let states ban abortion at 15 weeks of pregnancy, as Mississippi has done, but that he would not go further to completely ban abortion. So, here we have our conservative... That's right. Well, let states do it. It would let states do it. So he doesn't want to overturn Roe v. Wade, Roberts. He just wants to let Mississippi's 15-week law allowed, but not do away. Yeah, no, it's outrageous. John Roberts has been nothing but a traitor since he's been the Chief Justice. It started with Obamacare. It continues today. He's a fraud, John Roberts. Just a complete fraud. And we have George Bush to blame. Nothing good came out of George Bush. George W. Bush was the worst. I'm so sorry I supported him. I really am. He's a jerk, and he betrays Trump all the time. He voted for Hillary. He voted for Biden. He's one of his best friends is President Clinton. He hangs out with Bill Clinton. What married man hangs out with Bill Clinton? Really? My wife would not let me hang around with a man who had that kind of background. No. And I think most wives...
Let you hang out?
Yes.
This amazes me. You're telling me Kathy has veto power over who your friends are?
Well, that's how happy marriages work, Steve. Tomorrow's our 25th wedding anniversary, so 25 years. Yeah. No, married men don't hang out with men like Bill Clinton unless they want to, be in trouble with the wife.
Yeah, with the Willises back in the days when.
Yeah. A lot of that was show stuff. That was a little different. That was work related. too. You know, you were building up a work relationship with them. No. If George W. Bush were the Christian man he claims to be, he would not be palling around with Bill Clinton. It's one thing to do a thing with him because they're both presidents, but to pal around with him in private, he calls him his brother by another mother? Mm-mm.
Reeling from this comment you made about Kathy, I'd like Kathy to call. I can't imagine Kathy would even want to tell you who you could hang out with or not.
A man who's been accused of... Juanita Broderick says that Bill Clinton raped her. If I were hanging out with a rapist, you don't think a wife has veto power on her husband hanging out with rapists? Of course they do.
Become a rapist?
All right. I'll throw it out to the callers. I think I already know what my wife would say, but I want to hear from some callers out there, husbands and wives. Right? Does a decent, happily married man hang around with people like Bill Clinton? That's why one time Obama got in trouble. He was golfing with Tiger Woods, and he kept it secret because he didn't want Michelle to know, and the caddy tweeted it out. And he didn't want Michelle to know he was golfing with Tiger Woods because Tiger Woods is a player. That's right. You don't married men don't hang around with guys like that. They just don't. All right, our number's 1-888-GO, not happily married people. 1-888-GO, Kane 1-888-465-2631 is our number. Good morning. Yes, you're on the radio. What's your name?
John. That stupid Al.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's a dumbass.
All right, okay, all right. You're on the radio, or at least you were on the radio. What you said about Al may be true, but you are the same, having done what you just did. All right, I can't. I cut it before. Yes. I'm quick on the dump button. You can't get by me on the dumps. I'm very quick on the dump. All right, we'll take our last break while the delay builds back up. 1-888-GO, Kane 1-888-465-2631. If you're on hold, stand by. No more calls until the delay builds back up, because he used a word that you cannot use on the radio. Okay? 1-888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this. Do not go anywhere.
A COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by Any Lab Test Now of Boca or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is located in the Sandalfoot Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the sole authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the sole authority today, 954-597-7060.
Hi folks, Dr. Matez here, now with the BioStation West Delray. At BioStation West Delray, we
Steve Kane Show.
offer the highest level of experience and care you can find in the realm of hormone pellet and hormone replacement therapy. But that's just the start. We offer a full array of age management modalities, including state-of-the-art treatments for erectile dysfunction, sexual dysfunction, dysfunction in women, physical and sexual rejuvenation, and quite frankly, any sign or symptom of aging that you may...
Jacqueline, $20 super sticker. Thank you, Jacqueline. Everyone thank Jacqueline, please.
Better energy, better sleep, better performance, and looks to die for. If this all sounds good to you, call us at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
All right, we are back 46 minutes after the hour, and it's time for the Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman not with us today, so you're going to get the amateur report from me. Well, mine's less than amateur, but I'm going to give you the gold and precious metals numbers right now. Gold down, opening up at $7.10 down at $17.75 Silver is up 4 cents at $22.43. Platinum down $5 at $946. Palladium down $30 at $16.54. Those are the numbers. And you know, William Youngerman does more than just sell the metals in coin form and bar form that we talk about. It's a great place to go for Christmas shopping. He has an incredible collection of watches and jewelry that they sell, Steve, for pretty much just about the metals prices, right? Yeah, which is unheard of, and they have great stuff. I've talked to a lot of people that have bought watches and jewelry at William Youngerman. We had a caller the other day, bought a ring for $400 that he saw for sale for just under $2,000. Same exact ring somewhere else. So you can give them a call at 10 a.m. or stop right in. Their number 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com, and located right here in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto. The address, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. And if you have any questions on the jewelry or watches, no matter where you are in the country, give them a call. You will find watches and jewelry, and they have like the fancy designer watches, brands I've never, all the popular high-end brands and everything available. So give them a call. All right, we are back. You want to take some calls, Steve?
Yes.
All right, let's go to Richie, the bus driver. Hey, Richie.
Yeah. Good morning. I wasn't going to call this morning. I was going to give you guys a break. Hi, Steve.
How you doing?
I'm shocked like Steve. Listen, I know you're married 20-something years.
25 tomorrow.
25 years, but I knew a guy that said he was going back to the Middle East to marry a girl because she'd be his slave for life. Now, you're not Kathy's slave for life. You have to ask permission of who you're going to hang out with.
No, I don't ask permission on who I'm going to hang out with. But if I'm hanging out with a gigolo rapist, I think it would be. I think my wife would take issue with that.
What you're saying is hold on. What you're saying on the bottom line, underneath the surface, you're saying your wife doesn't trust you. I think she trusts you. I don't believe.
Of course, yeah, because I don't. I wouldn't hang out with Kathy Willits. And Steve, when you were hanging out with the Willitses, you were not in the same head you're in now. You wouldn't hang out with them today.
His wife and say she wouldn't let me when the word
and during that period, Lori never.
Richie, how many times have you been married, Richie? 3. And how many times have you been married, Steve? 3. And I've been married once. So who knows the most about a happy marriage? The guys that screwed up 2 of them?
Different. Steve and I maintained our dignity.
Your dignity.
Thank you very much, Richie.
So, yeah.
50. Let me. What is that?
So I'm going to take marriage. Independent man. That's right.
25 years, yes, dear. And you know what you say? You're always knocking these guys in the girly pants. You call them snowflakes. Well, you're a snowflake for your wife.
Because I don't hang out with racist gigolos and sex offenders?
Choice. She should give you the choice of what you want to do, or discuss it, not give you permission.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't ask for permission. I wouldn't say, could I please go hang out with this man who is a rapist, sex offender, and gigolo?
Kathy wouldn't let me do.
Well, if I did it, she would take issue with it. Absolutely, she would take issue with it. Really? Really? Oh, you think my wife wants me to hang out with gigolo rapist? I don't think so.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying she wouldn't be
Steve
worried
Kane
about
Show.
it. She wouldn't be concerned that you,
Hold on.
that you would.
I didn't. Who said she'd be concerned? You're saying that. And so far as Jeff and Kathy Willits, I took the job at the radio station that you were at because of them. I went there. I was working at another radio station, and I came for an interview at FTL, and I saw Jeff and Kathy Willits in the studio, and I said, well, this is where I want to work. It's more exciting than where I was at. But I wouldn't hang out.
Well, wife, what was Kathy's reaction?
Well,
She knows you wouldn't. She knows you wouldn't because you're a character.
but if I started hanging out with a husband and wife, a prostitute and her pimp, but if I did it, you don't think my wife should take issue with it? You think it's okay for me to hang out with a prostitute?
Well, let me. My wife wouldn't let me.
Okay. Okay.
Lori didn't give me a hard time about that.
That was a different time in both of your lives. I don't think she would let you do it today.
Let me do it up, please.
Okay.
Brian, the fact of the matter is, Steve and I are shocked because he came out with the.
No one is shocked. No one is shocked. No one is shocked. I think more people are shocked at you. I didn't even know you were on your third marriage. I thought that was your second.
No, I was married for 30 days and I made a major mistake. That was a 30-day deal.
What was the mistake?
She was a maniac and I didn't know it.
Why'd your second wife leave you?
No, I left her.
Oh, so you've left two women. Why'd you leave the second wife?
That's the one I left.
Oh, what about the first one?
The first one was 13 years of misery for both of us.
Who left who in the first one?
Couldn't have been that bad if you.
The first one.
If you stayed 30 years.
No, 13. 13 was the first one.
Oh, that's right. Mine was.
So why'd your first wife leave you?
No, she didn't leave me. It was this was mutual.
Oh, so you walk out on women all the time, apparently. So that now I understand why you're surprised at this. So yeah, okay. So you don't feel a sense of responsibility.
I'm married 20 years, and I don't have to ask.
Oh, really? So if you started hanging out with prostitutes and rapists, your current wife would have no problem with it. I trust you, Richie.
I wouldn't do that. And
Steve Kane Show.
But you're saying I wouldn't. I'll put it this
Steve
way.
Kane Show.
If I wanted to, I'm an individual.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
When you said you wouldn't let me, when you said.
Oh yeah, if you left a house and you said I'm gonna go hang out with a gigolo, a rapist, and a prostitute, because these are the people that Steve's talking about. When you came home, if the locks were not changed, your wife would be gone.
Probably so.
There you go. So your wife wouldn't let you do that either. There's consequences.
Get it? I wouldn't stay to stay. In other words.
Oh, you would sound butch in public. You would sound butch in public. I'm an independent man. I can hang out with rapists and hookers. She's not going to tell me.
Listen to me. You're married to a good woman who loves you, and you love her, and you have fine character. There's no question about it. But she's not your mother. She's your.
Okay.
Say you wouldn't let me.
Uh-huh.
Let me.
Okay. But your wife wouldn't let you either. She'd leave you, right?
I wouldn't come out on a radio station and say.
Oh, okay. So you're in the same situation. You just pretend to be butch. Yeah. So your wife. What would you do? What would your wife do if you went and hung out with rapists, sex offenders, and prostitutes?
If I wanted to do that, she would probably
Steve Kane
leave me,
Show.
but I wouldn't stop me from doing it. That's different.
Oh, okay. So your wife wouldn't let you do it either. She'd leave you. Well, listen. I can do it if I wanted, but if I did it, there's consequences, right?
Consequences. It all depends how strong you feel about it.
So your wife wouldn't let you do it either. You just would lie about it.
No.
Steve Kane
If I
Show.
wanted to do it and she said no,
Hey, hold on.
I would say, well.
Okay. Well, listen. Let's get out of the gutter here, and let's. We got a full board of calls. But it's time to check in with Janet Cimarelli. We're going to leave the gutter and travel over to the Festival Marketplace at AJ's Natural and Wellness Shop.
Oh my goodness! Oh.
Yeah, we were in the gutter.
Steve Kane Show.
Yes, yes. So what's going on in the world of nutraceuticals today, Janet Cimarelli?
Okay, what a segue. Well, lots going on. People coming in to AJ's on Sunday, people tuning in tomorrow to Health Matters at 10 o'clock right here on this station will learn about chi. Okay, so that internal energy that's kind of so elusive to describe, so elusive to understand. That's what we're going to learn about. And when we learn about it, we'll understand how to support our good energy, how to enhance our brain chemistry, and then all of the natural substances that are part of that beautiful picture of supporting overall health. And all of that is happening at AJ's on Sunday and Health Matters tomorrow at 10. And so you come into the AJ's or into Festival Marketplace, come in the main entrance, which is called Mardi Gras. Go all the way back, you'll find yourself on Dixieland. Turn right on Dixieland, which leads you to the west, and we're 4 doors down on...
Yeah, and, you know, AJ's Natural Wellness Shop at the Festival Marketplace. Everyone knows the Festival Marketplace. The festival is immediately east of the Turnpike on the south side of Sample Road in Pompano. And Janet is the J, her partner Anita is the A in AJ's. And it's really a perfect partnership because both of them have a long background in the nutraceutical industry. Janet Cimarelli is a licensed nutrition counselor, and Anita comes from the supply end, which enables her to have contacts to get the lowest and best prices that they pass on to you, their customers, at AJ's. And if you can't make it in, they will ship to you. Give them a call. And you can also call this number to make an appointment to have a no-charge free consultation with licensed nutrition counselor Janet Cimarelli. 954-317-1851. 954-317-1851. All right, Janet, have a great day. We'll finish out the week tomorrow.
We will. Good.
All right, take care, take care. Oh, man, you and I have been saying for years, Steve, I wish Janet Cimarelli had her own store. Now she does with her partner, Anita. So, you know, dreams come true. It's amazing. All right, do you want to sign us off?
I guess so. It's about that time. We will be back to do it all over again. So maybe we can pick up on some of these...
I knew. When we were in the gutter, I know Steve doesn't want to leave the gutter. He wants us back in the gutter. We can do it tomorrow if you want. Okay. I know, but you don't have enough time to turn it around on me. We're at the end of the show.
So, on behalf of our technical director, Tyler Kane, my partner, Brian...
You were close, Steve. There you go. There you go. You got it. You got it.
Covered AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
All right, that's it, guys. Hey, thanks for watching, everyone. Oh, my goodness. Full board of calls at the end. And I was dying to go to those calls because I was curious what they were going to say about that topic. I mean, I you know. So it turns out that Richie's in the same boat. He would just lie about it. Jeez. It's funny. All right, guys, I know, pathetic Holly, absolutely. All right, guys, I got to take off. I'll see you later. Make sure you like the video before you go, though, all right? If you're new, subscribe. I'll see you soon.